Mother, man.
Hey, this is David Smith, and that bitch Susan deserves a spot on Murder Metal Mayhem.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem! All right. Fucking Tuesday.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Throwing down is what's going on here in Horns High Studio on the Horns High Podcast Network, episode 139. Going down tonight.
Chris, you missed 138.
138.
Yeah. It was funny how many references we had to 138. But tonight should be a good one. The third one, gentlemen, of our Murdering Moms of May special.
Yep.
Man, each one is like the most depressing shit, you know, because they're all killing kids.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
fucked up. Dude.
Really fucked up.
At least the final one of the month, the kid doesn't die.
That's true. That's true.
That is true. Yeah.
That's true. Now, I got, of course, Joey and Chris here with me. And Chris, we did miss you last week. Everything completely fell apart.
I'm back.
Without the Shawback Nation representation in the studio.
Once you're Shawback, you never go back.
I guess. So,
At least it wasn't a month this time.
Right. It was one hell of a crazy one. I know you had your daughter's birthday and you had some family stuff going on.
It was her birthday, and she had a church school choir concert. So
that's cool. That's cool.
Like, I'll go.
Yeah, that was good. I think that's important.
I know why everything fucked up though.
Why is that?
Because I wasn't here, and she goes to a private Christian school, so I had to go into this Christian school. So that was just
there were bad omens.
There were bad omens everywhere, dude.
That could have been. So Steph did a good job though filling in.
Yeah.
No McCormick's though, Chris, but she was drinking a beer, and I was drinking a beer in the Mayhem segment. So shit just was pretty wild. But
I was at the concert at the Christian school waiting for the baseball guy with the box of beer coming around. Hey, cold beer. Where's this motherfucker at, dude?
But it's good to have you back, and it feels like normal Murder Metal Mayhem tonight.
Dude. Feels like the first time.
Now, what shirts are we got on tonight, Chris? What you got going on over there?
Got one of Jason's Murder Machine clothing shirts on, just basic skull on it with the Murder Machine logo in it. Fucking,
that's cool.
One of my favorite ones, man.
I think that's the one. I have one that's, I don't know if it's that one. I might have the one with the goat skull on it,
right?
Which is badass.
Hell yeah, dude.
Very cool. Joey, what about you?
Wearing this coat hanger abortion shirt.
Nice.
Man.
Got to jam with them down in Florida.
Yeah.
And they're from Chattanooga, Tennessee. But super, super badass brutal death metal band.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember you were talking about them last week, so that's very cool. And then, of course, I'm sporting a brand new Pestilence shirt
badass
that I got from Indie Merch. Killer, new album coming out next month. And so it's the album art for the new ones. So definitely digging on those guys, old school death metal for sure from the Netherlands. So, all right. Well, very, very cool. Last week we did, despite all the crazy shit, had a pretty decent episode.
Yeah.
We did our feature on Andrea Yates, the mentally disturbed mother who drowned 5 children of hers in Houston in 2001. It was awful. Stephanie was in here. She held her own, covering for Chris, dealing with me and Joey being dumbasses like usual. A little bit of voice of reason there amongst the chaos. So she did good. Looked like she had some fun. And so that was good. But it was a bummer. CK was feeling so bad from his chemo that he was unable to do his segment. Felt so bad. We called him and he just felt awful. And it tore him up. It really bothered him to not do the episode. I'm like, dude, it's okay, man. You got to, worry about yourself here. But he really loves doing this. And it really killed him to not do it. So I, was thankful. I talked to him yesterday. He sounds good.
Fucking right.
He's ready. He's fired up.
The man is back. We're both back. Both Chris's
That's
gone,
right.
man.
That's right. Now, because CK wasn't on, Joey talked a little bit more about his Tampa trip with the Goremonger show and the other bands that played, which was cool. So we did our best under, sudden circumstances like that. And then Stephanie had some really nasty stories, Chris. I don't know if you listened yet.
I haven't had a chance yet.
Pretty brutal mayhem stories from her working at the hospital. Pretty disgusting.
Hell yeah.
So make sure you're eating something when you
Right on.
when you listen. But we just passed 1,000 on that one, so a pretty average showing for an episode at this time of the process. So
Hell yeah.
thanks to everybody that listened, and if you missed it, go check out episode 138. We also had the problem with our listener Josh Newman that was supposed to be on, that we were having an internet connection issue. We weren't sure if it was us, him, or both, but we're going to reschedule. I sent him the list of the upcoming episodes, and so we'll let everybody know when he's going to be on.
Hell yeah.
Tonight, though, got another horrible mother to talk about. Probably one of the worst when it comes to just notoriety. This case, because it's pretty, recent, was all over the fucking news. South Carolina, of course, the 1994 case of Susan Smith. So
Fucking bitch.
really nasty. And that was going on right at the OJ trial, too. So despite that, she still captured the news for sure.
It's crazy. Like, so all three so far, Teresa Noor, and then fucking Andrea Yates, and now Susan Smith, like, every one of their cases is so fucking different. Like, they killed their kids.
That's true.
That's the end
story
game,
behind it.
but the story behind it, the variables that they had, every one of them was way fucking different.
Oh, yeah.
Even our last one for the month, while it isn't like the murder, like you said, of the children, so much, but even that was completely different too.
Very much.
So we took 4 topical stories, but they all had their own spin for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And even these two, Andrea Yates and Susan Smith, involving drowning, very, very different.
Yeah, way different story.
Yeah, so her 2 small kids, one was 3, one was barely a year old, put them in a car and pushed it into a fucking lake. Of course, they drowned. It's just absolutely awful. And all this because the guy she was seeing didn't want to have kids. So
Fucked up.
pretty fucked up. So she thought drowning the kids would make him want her and take her back because he told her he didn't want anything to do with her anymore.
That didn't work.
No, it did not. So she was fucked up, and so we got a good one tonight. So many people out there just fucking hate her. It's like a Casey Anthony thing. Just fucking hate her because of what she did and the way she lied to the public. And we're getting all into it. And, blaming a black guy as a carjacking, that pissed a bunch of people off. So it'll be a good one. And we'll do that, of course, in our murder segment. So CK has been warming up. He's ready to throw down. He's going to be talking about the band Korzus from Brazil. Just wicked, old school thrash metal, but good stuff. Been around since 1983. But one of those bands you've never heard of because they stay kind of in their neck of the woods. They're a Brazilian band. There's a big metal scene in Brazil, and a lot of those bands just stay down there, and they don't even do much in the way of touring. So I'm anxious for that. He's bummed he missed it last week, so we're going to do that.
Hell yeah.
But he's been running up and down Wildman Street throwing rocks again, guys. I don't know what it is with the rocks, but he's pumped. And we're also going to play part of the interview we did with the guitarist Antonio from Korzus. We'll play about 10 minutes of that. And so that'll all be in our metal segment. And I got a couple of news stories, too, related to metal that I put in there. And last week, Joey, we talked about what do we do? We played all the Brazil bands last week. And it's like, well, so what do? We were like, fuck it. Let's play the same 3 bands, just different songs. So we're going to be playing all Brazil metal tonight. So that's going to be awesome.
Hell yeah.
Got an interesting Killer Cage match tonight. Chris got some listeners to say thank you to.
Yes, sir. We got Cody Durst.
Yeah.
We got Roger Smith. And we got Samantha Cram. What up? How's it going, fellas?
Yeah,
Lady?
Samantha is just, she's in there all the time. Same with Rebecca. She's usually there. And good to see our buddy Cody Durst showing up there.
Keep rolling.
Tonight we have Susan Smith, of course, fighting an interesting one, Joey. Who's the
She's fighting fucking Bill Gunnis.
the big one?
Give me a beer.
The behemoth, Bell Gunnis. We've covered that one, Chris, way back when. Yeah, so Susan Smith and Bell Gunnis, that should be an interesting matchup. But, you know, the objects can make it interesting and the variable as well. So we'll do that one in the Mayhem segment. And then we'll have to talk about next week. How do we want to do it? Are we going to put the mom in there, or are we going to put the daughter in there?
That's a rough one, right? Ooh.
Should we do Mother verse?
Oh,
Right, that's what
we
I was.
could,
That was
yeah.
what I just thought.
Let's do that. That sounds
That is
good.
a
All
good
right.
one.
That sounds good. On the fly.
But we already know who wins that fight, though.
Yeah. Well, it's a
different
rematch.
battle.
It's a rematch, right?
Ass to ass.
So we're hoping to get word from WVK tonight. Weepy Voice Killer. He's been training. CK knows him apparently, and he talks to him, and he's going to try to get him on because we know that old Creole fucking called him out a couple weeks back. Wants to fight him because he thought that WVK took advantage of Punky being a kid, a young guy. And so old Creole calls him out. So WVK hopefully going to come on tonight and make some comments about what he thinks about that. So that should be interesting. And if CK can make that happen, we'll do that in our Mayhem segment.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention, too, I forgot to put it in the notes, but I went and saw the new Saw movie on Friday.
Oh,
Me and
hell
Jenny
yeah.
went and saw that. It's fucking badass.
Nice.
Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, which is interesting.
Yeah.
No Tobin Bell, the voice of Saw, not in this one, and no Billy on the bike in this one. But it's cool. I thought it was really good. The traps are sick.
Yeah.
Really, really wicked. So it's well worth checking out. The new Saw called Spiral, the Book of Saw. And the way it ends, it totally leaves it open for
sure I have no
many,
doubt,
many
Yeah.
more. So huge thanks, though, to spellboundeffectsandart.com for sponsoring the show. They've been with us for a while. Tony Campagna got so much gore on his
Shit's so
website.
nasty.
Yeah, I mean, all the escape room stuff and the custom shit he does, just amazing shit.
And it's also practical because the thumb drive you can use.
The thumb
it.
drive is a very
One-
useful
And,
thing.
and we've been our main light here in the Hornside Studios has been out for a few weeks now, so it's a good thing we've had the pulsating lamp.
That's right. That's right.
Like that's really helped us out through
It
these
has.
times. Through
It
these
would be
dark
pretty
times.
dark.
Through these
yeah.
dark, treacherous times.
So spellboundeffectsandart.com. Go check it out. Also, Rotten Cotton sponsoring the show. They sponsor us and the Voice of Dread. Sickest friggin' t-shirts, buttons, stickers, comics, graphic novels,
Pornos.
all sorts
no,
of shit.
No, they don't do that.
Oh, no, wait.
No, not quite.
Our one listener, Mason, he got a hoodie from them not too long ago. He just showed it to me
cool.
yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was like, I got it. I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
That's cool. Did he use the discount?
100%. he did.
Awesome. So if you use that discount code, Joey,
15% off, $20 or more. Use the discount code Mayhem.
very simple. Just use that as you check out. Your order's $20 or more, you get the 15% off. So rottencotton.com. Thanks to everybody out there listening to Murder Metal Mayhem. We keep seeing the numbers rolling in. This week we're a little down, but still good. 2,500 total listens. 1,000 to the new episode, so about 1,500 spread out across the others. So thank you very much, and we appreciate that. And Joey, normally right here is where we've been doing page a day. Those have been amazing. I finished The Feather Thief. Fantastic.
Awesome. Fuck yeah.
Fantastic. We get the Witch Killers coming up, another page a day.
Yep.
So page a day has been amazing, but what we're going to do is we're going to do it at the end of the murder segment.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of here, just to make the intro a little shorter so we can get down to business.
So we're still going to give it to y'all. Just now it's going to be part of the murder segment.
Yeah,
so
which is probably make more sense to put it there anyway. So, all right, guys. Well, we got a lot on our plate tonight. We're going to head to sunny South Carolina to see if we can beat the shit out of this bitch who likes to drown her fucking kids.
Fuck yeah, let's get our totally senseless murder on.
Cegos, sordos, todos e famintos, a seca, a gente que assola. No extremo, do sol oriente, ao extremo, do ocidente.
All right, some Brazilian metal, man. Something very different.
Yeah, it is.
Cangaço, their song Al Recife. They do sing all in Portuguese, and they're 3 music students, so they are fucking very talented guys. 3-piece, very unique, very original, as you could tell just from that little bit of clip.
Yeah.
So, heard about them from Antonio of Korzus. We asked him what bands does he listen to. So he's like, man, I listen to a lot, but hey, I'll just do Brazilian bands. And he threw them out there. And I was like, man, they're badass, you know. So it's going to be good. All right. Well, tonight, guys, doing some Susan Smith here from Union, South Carolina. Definitely a big case in the media, 1994, 1995. The fact that she let her 2 boys, age 3 and almost a year and a half, drown in the car into John D. Long Lake. Took 6 minutes, Chris.
Yeah, it was,
man,
it's fucked.
That is really fucked up to think of those poor kids sitting in that car for 6 minutes as it's slowly filling up. And according to American Justice, 1,000 kids, they say, are killed each year by their parents. I don't know if that's U.S. That just seems incredibly high.
It seems like a fucking...
I mean, that's just nuts. I listened to it 3 times because I'm like, that just sounds wrong.
Yeah.
But Bill Curtis is not wrong.
No.
Bill Curtis is like, he knows his shit.
Right?
He helps me
But
go to
that's what
sleep
he said.
sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. So it does seem like a lot, but that's what he's claiming. Fact that she was able to do this to her own children is beyond fucked up. And especially when, you know, the main reason she did it was for a boyfriend that wouldn't take her back since he didn't want to have kids. And of course, she denies this. And as the story unfolds, I think it's an obvious conclusion that she's just a fucking selfish bitch and would go as far as to kill her own children just to have what she wants, which is very fucked up. So we're going to dig into this one. And again, as we said, this is the 3rd of our Murdering Moms of May. So if you missed the other ones, man, go back and check it out. Teresa Knorr was first, then Andrea Yates, and now Susan Smith.
It's been a brutal-ass month so
It
far.
has been. It really has. Now, Chris, this story gets a lot of media attention, and a lot of people were really outraged. What do you think it is that made this so sensational?
It's because of the story she made up about what happened and how she portrayed herself. Basically, people believed her story for a minute and just couldn't believe that she actually did that.
Right.
So, just her story, basically.
You think the fact that she was young and attractive helped the media get all fired up, or no?
Maybe. I mean, the fact that...
During the trial, she made herself intentionally look kind of frumpy and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you see pictures of her now, she looks better now than when she did in the
trial and shit.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, you know, this many years later. But Joey, you know, you guys would have been young when this happened.
Yep.
Do you think that most of our listeners are going to know who this is?
I believe they're going to know the name if nothing else. And they're going to have an idea what we're talking about. They're going to understand it's a matricide case.
Right.
Or killing the mom killing the kids. But I said this last week too. The fact is that for a period of time there were so many sensational stories with moms killing their kids with Casey Anthony and Andrea Yates and Susan Smith, and that the fucked up thing is nowadays people can mix all them stories up and they get a little confused. So you bring one of them up and they're like, "Oh yeah, Andrea Yates, the bitch that drowned her kids in the car."
Right. It's like, no, you got the stories backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
But they get it though. So,
yeah, they understand.
Yeah. So I think overall people are going to know what they're getting into, and if not, you're about to learn some shit.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think a lot of people are going to know about her, but they're not going to know some of the details, and we'll get into it. Do it our own way, our Murder Metal Mayhem style. So now I remember this event very clearly because we just had moved back to Illinois after I got out of the Army in '94. And we moved here a week before this happened. So
I was 16.
I remember it.
I remember it happened.
Do you?
For sure.
I remember it happening. I was
That's cool.
16. So
yeah, I mean, if you lived in the South Carolina area, I'm sure it was wall to wall, and it was still, obviously a national story. But remember, guys, the O.J. Simpson trial was going on.
Yeah.
That ended October 3rd of '95, so that would have been right in the middle of this.
Now, see,
that was wall to wall.
There was two. Now, there's two other. I wouldn't say really phenomenons, but one was a phenomenon, and that was court cases being televised.
played on TV.
Yeah.
That's like, this shit was just popping right now, so people are seeing that shit.
Huge.
And then another thing, that was going on was besides the courts playing it, but I mean, just parents killing their kids.
Right.
That was just something that up until that point
You didn't hear about
it so much. And how many of them were accidents that the parents actually killed them? That's what's scary.
Plus,
now.
you had the birth of the 24/7 news, the court TV thing. So yeah, all that stuff I think plays a part. But hearing about her drowning these two little kids is just absolutely awful. And it was a very sensational trial story, everything about it.
You know what else fucking helped this case too, and all those cases back then?
What's that?
And this is fucked up. But the National Enquirer,
yes.
all the Globe,
the tabloids,
all those tabloid papers, like they fucking took these stories and fucking
beat them to death.
And so people,
True.
even if you really didn't know what was going on in the true trial,
you're standing in line at the grocery store,
shit.
Seeing that shit every week. That's a good point.
My mom used to read them shits all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Bat Boy found in cave and shit like that.
Bat Boy. That's funny. They're trying to figure out where you came from, Chris. Did you find this motherfucker in a cave somewhere? So Susan was born 1971 in Union, South Carolina. It's a blue-collar town, small town, only a 5-block downtown, so pretty similar to like Hayworth here. Although they had 8,000 people, we've only got about 3, so almost 3 times the size. A very unstable household, though, growing up. Her parents fought a lot.
Isn't that like instant confusion? A town called Union in South Carolina.
Oh yeah,
isn't that like Confederate area?
Oh right, that's funny.
So already they're confused.
Yeah, right. So her parents fought a lot. Her father was, accusing her mom of cheating on him throughout their marriage, so she'd certainly learned from the best, right?
He'd come in and say he's going to kill her and himself and shit right in front of Susan and shit too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very volatile fucking situation here. When they were first going out, the mom cheated on her dad, got pregnant, but they got married anyway. But I don't know if that's how. I mean, Susan's dad was the one that. So I'm not sure what happened. Maybe she aborted it. I'm not sure. Or did she have a brother or sister?
She was pregnant from a previous relationship,
right? And
then she just had the kid, and then they had Susan together.
Okay, because I didn't see mention in what I was looking at of other kids, and I wasn't sure how it all played out. But that makes sense. Now, her father was a heavy drinker. He was very depressed. He winds up killing himself when she's only 6, and she was just like any kid, very close to her dad, and it's obviously devastated her. And now she's having depression issues, and she's a teen. She was actually hospitalized a couple different times. Yeah. So now, Chris, we've covered stories like this where these kids are brought up in tough situations, but having a dad who commits suicide has got to be rough, especially for a 6-year-old. I can't imagine it wouldn't impact their life.
Oh, it's definitely going to impact your life. And being that young, I feel like that kid's going to be like, what did I do to make dad hate me so much
Right.
that he just didn't want to be around anymore. It's
Right.
It's definitely going to devastate anyone, let alone a young child like
Yeah,
that.
I agree, man. That's the good point. The whole blaming yourself.
Right.
What did I do?
What did I
Yeah.
do to make dad do this?
Yeah, that's heavy stuff, man. Now, her mother remarries a guy by the name of Beverly Russell. Kind of
I thought
interesting.
that was just weird too.
Yeah. Well-connected guy with some money.
Well, you know, in his defense, he went by Bev.
Oh, yeah,
it's a lot
that's
more
way
masculine.
better. Like,
Sounds like one of the Golden Girls, like
never
Friends. You know?
ever heard of a dude named Beverly
No,
before
I
in my
never have
life,
either.
dude.
Yeah, the podcast I listened to was really going off about that. Yeah. He was the head of the Christian Christian County Christian Coalition. That's a double.
Tongue twister.
What the hell is
Christian
going
County
on?
was the name of the county, but the Christian Coalition.
Right.
He was the chairman of that and the county Republican Party. She claimed that he molested her at age 15, which he later admitted to. And then one of the newspapers in the area made the claim that their sexual relationship went on for years and only stopped. One account I saw said 6 months, but then one of the documentaries, I think it was the American Justice, said 3 months within the time of the murders. So this is going on into her adulthood.
I don't think it helped any though when she did like report it to her counselor or whatever.
Right.
Like he didn't hardly get any kind of punishment. Plus her mom was fucking like super embarrassed, like complained at her, say, "Why did you make this public? Now everybody's gonna look at our family fucking funny and shit." So her mom kind of blamed her for what was going on
She was
too.
probably like, "Fuck it, you're gonna blame me? I'm gonna keep getting off on
Right,
this dude."
like whatever, fuck it.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean that's just fucked up. You know, to one thing to be
And he's like,
molested,
"Cha-ching."
Right.
but later on she's an adult and it's still going on. So I'm guessing maybe money was involved or he was helping her. That
Maybe
kind of
she
thing.
loved that dick.
Maybe. I mean, it's very possible.
Susan Smith.
Joey, hard to know the facts here, but definitely a salacious part of this case.
Oh yeah, remember the? I mean, yeah, that's these details are important to talk about, and
Right.
definitely important to what goes on, and certainly a fucking part of everything.
Yeah, we're making stupid jokes.
We are,
it's
but
serious.
it's definitely
It's
a part of it.
serious shit.
But I'm going to continue to make stupid jokes about it. I'm going to talk about. Remember, Chris? They showed that interview with the jail dude that said he was fucking her.
Yeah,
Did
we
you see
watched an
that?
interview
I
with one of the
did, yeah.
prison. one
Well,
of the
that
prison
guy
prisoners
right
banging.
there, that's how I picture Bev.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm not going to say that
Definitely.
she just didn't have some kind of daddy issues and wasn't
Oh,
about
sure.
that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I was
Maybe.
like, damn, man, you would think, like, out of all the prison guards, that she could have been banging somebody that was a little better looking.
This
or
dude's
something.
just
Right.
like, what?
He's like hurly-burly fucking man and shit.
Yeah, for sure. So she tries to kill herself twice after graduating high school in 1989. The second time was after she was dumped by a married man she had been having an affair
I mean,
with.
she's just about it.
She
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
man.
she is,
She's in all sorts of fucked up situations here. She seems to be just going from one fucked up situation to another.
And she tries to kill herself, and then they talk about the depression and all that.
Right.
And that's the same thing with Andrea Yates. We were talking about how
Yeah.
there were medical signs and, factual fucking situations that
Evidence
happened.
and shit. Yeah.
That was like, man, you need to watch these people, especially if they're going to be having children.
Right.
So
That's a good point. That's a good point. But she's just in all these volatile situations. She
Yeah.
eventually meets David Smith, who was nice enough, Chris, to do a promo for us
Yes,
at
he
the
was.
beginning of the
Yeah.
episode. So thanks, David. They were working together at a grocery store. He was her boss.
Yeah, the boss.
I wonder if it was the Piggly Wiggly.
And she can't seem to
Winn
stay
Dixie.
away from relationships that are just not good to be in. So the one thing, though, about the name David, just to complete throwing this thing into the weeds, just a funny thing. I don't know if I've ever talked about this before on the show, but we used to have neighbors when I was little. Lived in a condominium, so we had neighbors are like right up against you
On the wall, yeah.
Yeah. And the woman would sit out on the porch, and she had little kids, like a few years younger than me and my sister. And the boy was named David, and he was, I don't know, maybe 3, 4-ish, somewhere in there. And I remember every time we would sit down to eat, especially in the summer, they're out there, and like our kitchen was like the front
window
room.
was right
Yeah.
there.
So you can hear everything, And the kid was like in the yard and he was playing. And like when he would get close to the edge of the yard where the sidewalks were to then go into the street,
Right.
she would go, David, 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 like one of those like homing or like electric fence thing. Because he would walk toward the sidewalk, David. And then he would go, David. And it was just like,
like bouncing back.
but it
and
was
forth.
constantly. And my mom one time like threw her silverware and I'm like, God damn it. You know, like, I can't even concentrate on what I'm trying to eat. Because like, just when you think she's done doing it, she would say, David, David. And it was just like, oh my fucking God. So
That's
for
fun.
the rest of my life now, every time I hear the name David,
Yeah.
I think of David. So I don't know what David's been doing. Hopefully his mom stops doing that. Maybe she's still doing it. I don't know. Anyway, sorry to throw this into the weeds, but she just can't seem to, have normal relationships. These two are constantly cheating on each other. She winds up getting pregnant with her first son, which of course was Michael. It was after the second baby, though, Alex, that these two get married.
Yeah,
They
this is
decide
after
to
they've split up multiple times.
multiple times. Just a fucking train wreck here. Her mother and stepfather were against, getting those two getting married. Mainly though because David didn't have a bunch of money, which is
Right.
kind of fucked
Yeah,
up.
exactly why they didn't want her to marry him.
Yeah, because they thought, oh, she's used to having stuff because of Bev, Meanwhile, her mom's probably not realizing that she's still having sex with Bev,
I mean, that's just sugar daddy all around.
It
Yeah,
is
like,
like
straight
legit
up.
sugar daddy.
She's a sugar babe.
So, if that's true about them having the affairs up until the murder, that just adds a whole new part of this story that I don't even know what you could say about it. It's just fucked up. And they lent Susan and David money for a down payment, which is definitely going to be uncomfortable for David when you know that you got these in-laws that don't
even
like
like
you and you owe them all this
like,
fucking
hey,
money.
Can I borrow some money?
Right. Like, motherfucker, we gave you 20 grand for that house.
We
or
gave you
whatever
our
they
daughter.
get. Right. Yeah. Bev's like, man, you're cutting into my fucking pussy time here, Now, Chris, this bitch is just a train wreck. She's constantly cheating on whoever she's with. We just said David and her were breaking up and splitting up over and over again, but maybe Joey's point about the daddy issues is the reason why she seemed to fall for these older dudes with money.
It seems like we were talking about the prison guard. He was older than her, and
Right.
there was two prison guards actually, but
Right.
yeah, everybody was like definitely 10 plus years older than her.
Yeah. So maybe that was part of this, I don't know.
Total daddy issues for
Yeah.
sure, especially after your stepdad's been your real dad isn't there for you after you're 6, and then
Right.
you finally get a stepdad. You're like, all right, I got somebody here. The next thing you know, he's a fucking pedophile.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
holy shit.
Yeah. It's just the example she was given on how to be in a relationship
man,
were
yeah.
awful. And then her mom, if the stories of the first of her dad were true, that he said she was cheating on him repeatedly, then, she's just got all sorts of negative influences on her life. That's for sure. Susan and David's relationship is fucked up. She starts cheating on him. They split up. She's going out with this Tom Finley, who's got some money. His dad owned the manufacturing plant where she worked as a
And
secretary.
it's like the biggest business in the city or whatever. So
Yeah.
he's got some fucking cash.
Yeah, I saw that he was voted the most eligible bachelor in Union, and he's got like completely bald on top, like not the guy that you would expect,
Right. So-
but it's solely because of the fact that
'Cause
he
he's
had all
bloated,
that money.
yeah.
Yeah, so kind of funny how
And
people
he's like,
value that so
of
much.
course, being the most eligible bachelor, I don't want to put up with your stupid ass fucking kids.
Right. Exactly. So she's all about Tom, which means, he's got, the money to, give her shopping, which is she's all about that. So she liked to spend money. And of course, with David, she wasn't able to do that. And then you throw in the fact that she's got these 2 little kids, they're struggling. So, I mean, I was there, Chris, you've been there. I mean, we've all struggled, but when you deal with kids, it makes it that much worse because it's like easy for, like when I was single and struggling when I was, 19 or 20, I was, by myself.
As
So it's like, whatever I can do without, eating for a day or two, which I did many times. But man, when you got kids, that's a whole different fucking deal.
You got to
man.
take care of them fucking
Yeah,
goddamn
it's difficult. It adds to the stress, that's for sure. So, she's just doing whatever she can to be with Tom, and he dumps her. And Joey, of course, this would set in motion the horrible shit. But what do you think? Was it with Tom mostly just the fact that he didn't want to deal with her kids?
I mean, he wasn't looking to be responsible for anybody else's kids.
Right. If they were his own kids, I could see it being a different
Right,
thing.
but he was saying that. Now, I think that he voiced that to her, which he did, and I think that was a checkpoint among other things. And I think it's something that she focused on. I don't think that he wasn't telling her to go kill her kids.
No,
of
course.
Tom
Hell no,
Finley's
not
not
at
like,
all.
go kill your kids or be with me.
Right,
You know what
no,
I'm saying?
He
I
just
mean-
straight up, I don't want anything to do with
Right,
you anymore.
yeah,
He
it's
wrote
nothing
her a
against
letter.
you. He even said the kids seem like they're good kids. It's just not what I want.
Right. Now, he said, all he said was that he was not wanting to accept responsibility for the kids. He also said that he felt that those two came from totally different environments, and that's what he said, too.
Like, they're
sure.
not compatible.
Right. And now, another thing with Tom, too, is, this was this 10 days before she killed her kids or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
They had this hot tub party, and she was there, and she was acting basically like a fucking slut there, and Tom saw her
acting that way,
right,
yeah.
She kissed another married man,
Oh.
and he was like,
I can't-
so he started fucking with her about that, like, that's trash, basically.
I don't need that.
At the same time, it's really hilarious because she's fucking married at the same time.
Right. Well, they were separated. But
Okay,
still,
true.
Still, though.
It's just, but yeah, no, he did dump her. I do believe, partially, it was because of the kids. I don't think the way that they pushed it, I don't think it was an ultimatum situation.
No,
no.
not at all.
I think he was just done with the conversation or
Yeah.
with the relationship, and that was part of it. And he brought up all the reasons why he was done, and
And that's,
Right.
and she
and that's
was
the
like,
one thing
"Oh,
she took out
she
of
was
it.
like, oh, you don't want me to have kids? Well, then I'll take care of that."
Right.
It's fucked.
Not the other shit.
Yeah.
The whole list of stuff.
Yeah,
right.
She didn't care about anything else, the kids.
Now, and Thomas Finley, he's also the one during the trial that he testified to her relationship with Bev that
wow.
we've been talking about.
Oh, okay.
And, he was the one that said, yeah, it had been going on that long, and that was her whole thing, was that she was afraid that David knew that he was going to expose it, which we'll get into that later.
Oh, wow.
But Thomas Finley is the man who said this, and so it
Damn.
seems out of all these people
He
that
seems
he
the
was
most credible.
yeah, and he was probably
Nothing to gain
her
from it.
truest confidant, too.
Oh, sure.
It may be Bev, too. I wouldn't be surprised about that.
Right. Interesting. Now, Chris, I also heard that, we talked about David's father committing suicide as well.
She
so
supposedly found him. And
Yeah.
like everything I saw, she's the one that found him.
so her father, now her father-in-law, and like I said, you said that she did find him. So, this is just a lot of heavy-duty shit.
It's a lot of weight.
A lot of trauma in her
I don't-
life.
Did she find her dad too? when
I'm
she
not
was
sure
6?
about
I
that,
don't-
but I know she found the stepdad.
Right, I know she found the stepdad, but still, when you find him,
Wow.
like, after you've already, like you said,
Jesus.
after your dad has already killed yourself, and you've attempted suicide multiple times yourself,
Right.
now you find somebody else that's
Right.
killed themselves. Holy fuck, dude!
Yeah, that's a lot of shit, a lot of baggage to be carrying around.
Yes, it is.
I know, what I went through with Tim's suicide, and I did not find him, but I can't even imagine how much worse it would have been had I done that.
Right, exactly.
So it's October 1994, October 25th, 1994. Susan's freaking out, because Tom dumped her. We talked about that with the letter. She calls a bar that Tom would frequent, speaks to a friend to see if he's there and if he's asked about her, and the guy or girl told her he was not.
No, he don't even care no more. He told you already.
Yeah,
Fucking done,
he was
dude.
done with her.
Done.
And she got that letter, as you pointed out, Joey, a week ahead. So this is not like she got the letter that day, which
And
is
fucking
what
all right,
I
these
had
kids
thought.
are gone.
Yeah.
No,
She made the boys, Michael and Alex, pizza at home. Reminds me of David Hendricks, that case, right?
Yep.
Pizza before killing him, allegedly with David Hendricks.
Allegedly, yeah.
A pizza at home, and then drove around in Union, distraught about Tom. Kids are in the back seat in their car seats. She's just driving around totally distraught. She would later claim that she wanted to kill herself, but didn't know what would happen to the boys.
The kids would be abandoned. Because she thought the kids would be abandoned or whatever.
Yeah, what about the dad? I mean, he seemed like he would have taken the kid. I can't imagine he wouldn't have.
You don't want these kids around because you're trying to get this other dude.
Right.
And he don't want kids. Well, the fucking kid's dad wants the fucking kids.
Right.
Like, there you go.
Yeah.
You full custody. Go.
I had never heard anything negative about David when it came to those kids. So it's like, that's fucked up.
I heard, it probably just fucking somebody's theory or whatever, but I saw like some psychiatrist was talking about when somebody's like that is looking to commit suicide, they see the child or whoever as an extension of themselves. So that's part of the homicide, part of the suicide. Sure. They're not killing them; they're killing themselves, and that's part of them.
True.
Taking them with them. So I thought that was pretty weird. But
yeah, now that you say that, I think I did hear a mention of that either on the podcast I listened to or one of the docs.
Right.
But that is interesting.
Yeah.
That really is interesting. Now, here's where things start to get fucked up. She would claim to the police that it was a black guy with a gun that got into her car at an intersection.
With the stoplight?
Yeah, with the stoplight. And that's where she fucked up because she said that they got close to this John D. Long lake. He told her to get out. Of course, the boys are in the car. Yeah, he takes off. So she ran to a house.
I know why you're laughing right now.
Dude, we were just sitting there watching random stuff about fucking Susan Smith while we were sitting there. We're scrolling through YouTube, just whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's fucking
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey on fucking Susan Smith. And he's like, and he's got this little bit, whatever. And the last thing he says, he's like, and then she says that a black man took off in a car with 2 white kids in it. Come on now. That ain't going to happen. You're going to have... Yeah, dude, it was so fucking hilarious. Dude.
Well, they did say that was part of the ridiculous thing is they would have been
totally
like
noticed,
right away.
Yeah.
But, you know, she calls the cops. These tear-jerking pleas on camera. There's all sorts of that you could watch on YouTube. Her going to the public and crying. And,
she ain't even crying. She's just,
like fake crying. Like when your kids are trying to cry to make you feel bad.
Like, come on, motherfucker.
You're not really crying. So they've got all these people looking for the car and the black guy with the 2 kids in the back seat.
And like CNN's coming to her house and doing
all
these fucking interviews.
Right. It's all over
she's
national
just like,
news.
I know they're out there safe. If you can hear me, fucking like, bitch, you are fucked up.
Yeah, and the whole town is like upset and they're all looking. I mean, they all believe her. I mean, who wouldn't believe her?
And if you haven't seen these, you can see these news interviews.
Yeah, they're on
YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a listener and
she did a sit down. They both did. Too.
Exactly. So it's like, go watch them and watch her lie to the world, basically.
Right. Yeah. She like straight up lied. Don't know where these kids are. Like,
and this is dragging out for 9 days. You got all sorts of media coverage. The composite they put together was so generic because she had these like really vague descriptions that it could have been literally anybody.
Stereotypical black man is basically
right, with a stocking cap on.
Yeah.
You know? So things are not adding up. The cops are up on this. And Joey, there were some cracks. In the story that the cops definitely were onto pretty early on. What was the deal with that?
I mean, they interviewed her time and time again. They interviewed her so many times with so many different detectives and shit. But there were things that she said in her story that just, it didn't make sense. Like we were talking about with the red light. She said that she stopped at this red light. There was she said there were no other witnesses to see
other cars around.
However, they fucking knew that at that intersection, that light would never have turned red
without another
car coming.
It stayed green from that direction.
Right.
So they knew that was fucking sketchy. She also talked about at first she said that David had wanted to go to the Walmart. And whenever they talked to her again, she changed her story, and she was like, "Oh no, I wanted to go to the Walmart," which that was a tiny discrepancy, but it's still different. It was the beginning of her undoing.
Yeah, nobody at Walmart recognized
right. So
her
they
either.
go to the Walmart, and they because she's like, "Oh yeah, I went to the Walmart," her and her kids, and they go there, and nobody there saw her or the children there at all.
Right.
They got the camera footage from the fucking parking lot, so that proved she was fucking wrong. They also had her do the polygraph.
The polygraph, yeah.
Right. And she very heavily failed the part.
And David passed all his.
Right. Yeah, and whenever they asked if she knew where the children were, she showed super deceitful on that part. So anyway, the Walmart thing, they come back to her and they're like, "Hey, we know that that's not what happened." So she walks back and she's like, "Oh, actually, I had the kids just in the back seat of the car and I was driving around." She was like, "The reason I didn't want to say that is because I thought it looked suspicious."
Well, because now
it's like, okay,
now you
look
do, right?
suspicious.
Because you were lying.
And another thing that she did also during this time was Tom. This is the only and last time that Tom Finley talked to her. He called her to express his his remorse for the kids being gone and everything like that. And he said while they were talking, she automatically switched the conversation from the kids to their relationship,
yeah,
and wanted to talk about that. And he was like, "Yeah,
something's not right."
Yeah, and that's whenever he started thinking that. So
interesting.
And the one last thing I was going to say that she was doing that really kind of gave her away. She was in there giving all these sob stories and breaking down and whatnot, never once shedding one tear.
Not one.
And all the detectives said that. They're like, yeah, she was in there fully sad,
right?
Playing the
looking like doing the
mother.
fake crying,
but no tears.
No tears.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Definitely fucked up.
One single tear.
The police definitely knew she was bullshitting. The FBI are involved now, state police. So this is ramping up.
Oh, yeah.
They're circling the wagons here. Her husband, David, though, he stands by her side, even though his parents especially his dad, were saying she's full of shit. By the second day, the cops were searching the area lakes, and the other areas, where water was, found nothing.
Which is fucking crazy that they do. I mean,
I know.
The explanation of it makes sense, but damn, dude.
They were actually at the lake where he was, or they were, but they only searched 100 feet from the shore, and they were actually 122.
Did you see? Yeah. Did you see the what they were talking about? Okay, now this is pretty fun. I thought this was super interesting. You think that if you drive your car and you drive it fast off the ledge or whatever it is, right, it's going to shoot out further into the water, and you're going to look out deeper. This is what these divers are thinking. That's why they overlooked it, because they went too far. The fact is, if you drive your car really slowly and just let it fall off, it's going to float out further.
That's what happened.
If you drive it fast like she did, or the car was moving fast, it hits the water and creates the waves, which automatically stop the car, and that's why it drops straight to where it was, and it also overturned. Because they found the car was upside down.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that was super interesting, because I would have thought, you drive the car faster, you get the further out there.
Yeah. And I think it was a stick, and she just let the emergency brake off. So it was rolling, not like gas pedal to the metal. But nonetheless, that's very interesting how that works. The people in Union are also thinking that this is bullshit. Town like that, people are going to notice, the black guy in the car with the two white kids. Yeah. Somebody would have seen her at that intersection if she's claiming that light was really red. Somebody would have saw her at Walmart. Nobody did. So
so much shit that wasn't cohesive.
Yeah, the story is definitely falling apart. And she told a friend I saw 5 days before this happened, I wonder what life would be like if I didn't have kids. So,
we all wonder that, but I ain't trying to kill my fucking kids.
I know. So that's just fucked up. And Chris,
she was writing that. She had a little diary or something.
Yeah, she was.
And
she was.
That shit.
The fact, Chris, that there's so many people in Union that are trying to help, makes it that much worse. I mean, the whole ribbons on the trees and everything, man.
And the fact that most of the city was like behind her, supporting her,
right?
Because she's lying to them.
Mm-hmm.
It made motherfuckers super fucking pissed. They're outside the courthouse yelling "baby killer."
Right. They turned on her once they found out it was bullshit.
Fast as fuck, dude.
Right.
Deservingly.
Right.
But they fucking turned their asses quick.
Yeah. I mean, and deservedly so, man.
Yeah.
The cops and the
to
people
play
that
us,
were
dude.
looking were really hoping they were going to find these kids alive. But, obviously as the days go on, that becomes less and less of a possibility. Susan eventually breaks down November 3rd. She tells the police what happened. She begged one of the cops for his gun so she could kill herself. She gives them a written statement. And I watched something where they said they needed to do it that way to avoid, there was some legal part of why they didn't want to do a verbal, like videotaped confession. So they did it where she wrote it out. And then that was like the official statement. And then they interviewed her, like you said, Joey, multiple times.
Yeah.
But that initial sit down was her giving a written account of what she said she did. She said she drove to that lake. She went to go in with the kids, stopped 2 different times,
Then
got out, and then
decided
pulled
she's
the
gonna go
brake
ahead
and
throw
let
the
it
kids.
roll into the fucking lake.
It's so fucked up.
It is fucked up. It really is. And it goes out 122 feet, as we mentioned. They show
A reenactment of it. And
to the court.
They showed pictures of not their entire bodies, but of the boys after they got brought out of the, like pieces of their arms or whatever, just
Really
like so the
fucked up.
jury could see like what happened.
Right.
And like they were hanging upside down in the car and shit.
I
Like,
know. It's awful. They said the diver said when they got up to the car, they could see hands in the window. I'm like,
on the windows. Yeah,
oh
dude,
my
that's
God.
fucking
That's just awful. Absolutely
horrible.
fucking awful. Joey, I don't know how much more fucked up you get than that story there with how they found those boys, but was there any other details that you heard about how it all went down beyond what we just said?
Not really. I mean, that was pretty much it. And she gave the statement
Right.
and told exactly how she did it. Like, once she fucking opened up, she opened up. But a couple things that I found that were kind of interesting that kind of relate to this, though, is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Yeah.
They did a study about certain cases, I think from like 85 to 95 or something like that, mothers who have murdered their children or whatnot. And,
Right.
They say that mothers that kill their kids, they usually dispose of the bodies in a distinctively womb-like manner, like in water, wrapped in plastic.
Wow.
In some way, it's like putting
That's
them back in
fucked
the
up.
womb. And
Damn.
another fact that they came up with out of that study was that every single one of the cases that they studied, all of the bodies were found 10 miles from the family home.
That's fucked up.
That's
Yeah.
crazy,
Wow.
right?
Interesting stuff.
That's fucking nuts.
Now, Chris, as a dad, I mean, I can't imagine what David Smith is going through. I mean, he stood by her in the beginning, but then, of course, he realizes it's bogus, and now it's her that killed him. I mean, I can't even. I don't want to go there,
They would have had to do a lot to keep me from getting to her.
Right.
Because I would.
I'm sure they did. I mean,
like just to keep me from getting there. And it was like so bad that like I saw somewhere that like on the 10th anniversary of their death or whatever, he actually went out because they got buried together. Whatever. He actually went out to their gravesite and was laying there, put a gun in his mouth. And he was going to kill himself on that because
wow.
even after 10 years, it was just so hard.
Jesus.
I mean,
That's fucked.
the thought of that is just insane, dude.
Yeah. I agree, man.
Yeah.
The bodies were bloated and deformed, of course, from being in the water for several days. So the caskets were closed. The funeral was November 6th. I thought that was neat. They were buried in the same casket. Of course,
It's a
they're
dope
both
casket,
really
too.
small. Jeez. So sad. A huge crowd, of course. The whole town is mourning. Yellow ribbons on the trees and a shrine at the boat ramp that led to the lake. and as we said, this visceral hatred of Susan. I mean, they're so mad. And, the black citizens were pissed because they're like, man, she blamed it on one of us,
Exactly. You know what would have happened if it actually had went down like that?
Right.
It'd be fucking retarded.
Right. And I mean, somebody could have got snatched up by some vigilante and shot for doing something he didn't even do.
Nobody did except for her.
So just fucked up.
I honestly can't believe she didn't get fucking at least really badly hurt in prison over that.
Over just the race part. Yeah,
just that.
Right. She's, of course, charged with both the murders. Prosecutor Tommy Pope, he was the youngest in the state of prosecutor in the state at the time. He was a son of a sheriff, and he had a reputation for being a tough son of a bitch, so they put him on it. And very, very interesting. I saw him be interviewed on one of the docs I watched. And David, of course, files for divorce. I mean, that's David.
David.
David. Yeah, he files for divorce. Obviously,
course,
that's the obvious one
done.
there. Yeah, exactly. Don't have to say that twice.
I mean, it's not like fucking Andrea Yates, Randy, are just like, hey, we're going to have some more kids.
Yeah, Rusty was all wanting to have more kids. Yeah. So she gets a public defender, which she gets a good one. Judy Clark. She was the attorney for the Unabomber. But I'm sure that was that later than this or before this? I don't remember. But she was she was the public defender. But her mom and Bev, the sugar daddy, put up some money. They actually mortgaged their house again to get her another attorney, David Bruck, who was, obviously there to help her not get the death penalty. So, they're doing what they can. I would have let her fry. I mean, your kid or not, I mean, that's some fucked up shit. I wouldn't want any part of trying to get that person off. I mean, it'd be awfully hard. I mean, it's easy to say when it's not your child, but my God, I mean, I'm supporting my kids, but yeah, exactly.
That was my grandchildren.
That's true. So the trial begins, 1995. Of course, you got people really pushing the death penalty. The state's going for it. It takes them a while to get a jury. They get 4 black jurors. The rest of the 8 were white. The prosecution decided to explain why she did it, even though they didn't have to. Some would question that decision because now they, have already committed to that.
Yeah.
And it also leaves the defense open to explain why she might not have done it.
Right.
So without that even on the table, that couldn't even been brought up. So there was some questions right in the beginning. I had read that the prosecution was pretty risky, that Tommy Pope to go for that, but that's what he did. The trial would take 17 days, though. Joey, of course, the defense is going to bring up everything they can, her childhood, the father's suicide, the father-in-law's suicide, bouts with depression, fragile mental state, what's going on with this, her husband and now this Tom and all this stuff. But I mean, you're in that situation, you're fighting for your life. Anybody would throw the kitchen sink at it, you know?
I mean, they're trying everything they can, of course.
Right.
And it, going back to what we were saying about, this is whenever courtroom cases were being sensationalized and you could watch this one. And like Tom Finley coming out on the stand and, stating that she was having an affair with her stepfather, which is what everybody in town under their breath was talking about.
Right.
They were all saying that they thought that. And then for him to get on the stand and be like, yeah, that's exactly what was happening. And, part of the reason why she was so afraid of what was going to happen. And I mean, it's fucked up, but, they saw through anything that they tried to put at the jury. And it's fucked up to say this too. Okay, you're supposed to have an impartial jury, because you're presumed innocent until you're
right.
that's pretty much bullshit. But at the same time, who in the fuck in the whole goddamn world didn't see her make a fucking liar of herself on national TV?
Right.
Everybody had to have known what happened. So it's like, I don't think there's one person that ever would have believed that she was fucking not innocent of that crime.
Right. Exactly.
That's the thing about it.
Because you lied to us and you made us feel like stupid because we fucking believed you and we're worried about your kids and you fucking killed
and you
them.
didn't give a shit about them.
Right. The defense says this is not a case of evil, but of despair and sadness. They also said that, quote, her body willed itself out of the car.
Her mind wanted to stay there, but her body said no.
Yeah. When she let it roll into the lake with the boys inside, the defense psychiatrist diagnosed her with a dependency disorder and major depression. And the prosecution's theme was that she did it to start a new life with her rich boyfriend, Tom. I believe that that's correct. I mean, I don't see where else you go with this thing. Knowing her story and everything she told. I mean, she told her friend that, what if I didn't have these kids? How would my life be different? I mean, that's obvious that that's on her fucking mind, you know, here 5 days or whatever it was.
She wasn't believing that she was saving them from the world like Andrea Yates was. Andrea Yates in her fucked up mind, like, had some kind of justification.
She was legitimately crazy.
Right, exactly. This bitch is like, no, I need to be rid of these fucking...
These are a burden. This is a burden. Yes,
exactly. It's fucking horrible, man.
Just like Casey Anthony. This is
very much
to the way I want to live my life.
Right. You know, Susan would say she didn't do it, of course, for those reasons, but you know, I don't know why she just didn't let him go with the fucking dad. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know how she thought she was going to get away with this shit. I mean, Jesus. The way the defense brought up her mental issues and suicide attempts, the prosecution was not able to cross-examine it. I was a little confused with that, but I was getting late and I was trying to get through what I was watching. But they mentioned something about some legal issues with the fact that the defense brought it up. It was like kind of off the table with mental health. I'm not sure. But anyway, David's testimony against her was very emotional, of course. And then I'm confused about this. I've referenced the stepfather a couple times, but does she have another stepfather? Because didn't the one kill himself? So I don't know what the mention.
No, that was father-in-law, dude.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was father-in-law.
Yeah, I'm getting confused with these all these fucking suicides. It's so crazy. It's like the Japanese fucking forest, the suicide forest. Chris, what the hell do you think here? I mean, do you think it is the whole wants to start a new life?
100%, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I don't need to say anything more than that. 100%. That's the whole reason she did it.
Yeah, I think so too. 2.5 hours. She's found guilty. The penalty phase, though, of the trial, the jury didn't give her the death penalty, but she got life without the possibility of parole until 30 years. And then she has the possibility to get out. It's amazing to think that that's only a couple of years away here, Joey.
Yeah.
2024 is when that 30-year mark, but I'm not seeing her getting out, not after that. She is currently at the Leith Correctional Center in Greenwood County, South Carolina. But what do you think, Joey? I mean, do you think she's ever going to see the light of day?
No, I don't think so. And I think her being sensational as she is, that's also going to work against her forever getting out.
Right.
Because there's way too many people that hate her. And like I said, she made a public spectacle of the whole ordeal and, you know, proved herself to be a liar in the worst possible scenario and way that you can. They're not going to let her out. And, I mean, it's South Carolina, like... this is fucked up to say, but they don't have like a lot of fucking high profile criminals down there.
No, Pee Wee Gaskins. There's been a few.
So they're gonna make a fucking example of her.
Yeah, it's a tough state. They're not going to let her ride with that. I don't see it either.
I don't see it. Yeah,
I wouldn't think they would.
No. Now the podcast I listened to, Chris, I know you've heard these guys before. True Crime All the Time. She got into trouble a few times involving sex with the prison staff, which we've already kind of joked around about, but Houston Cagle was one dude, and Alfred Rowe was the other. As you guys mentioned, one of these guys is on, does an interview and talks about it.
He says she should stay in prison.
Yeah, I mean, he's just some big dude, older than her, and you wouldn't expect her, with all the different choices she would have had, but maybe it was just an opportunity thing.
That's true too. Yeah.
So hard to say.
In his interview, he kind of made it sound like he felt like he was getting groomed by her.
Wow.
Didn't it make it sound like that, dude?
Yeah, that's fucked up. But it's not surprising given how just off the chart she is when it comes to that subject, man. She's just like insatiable, I guess.
But also in that interview, he did say he kind of feels like she did it so she could move to a different prison, which is closer to her mom.
Oh, wow.
Because the prison she was in was like, I don't remember how far away it was, but he said that the prison she's in now, which she did get transferred to, is only like 50 miles from her mom.
Ah, that makes sense.
Manipulation, man.
There you go. She's good at it, that's for sure. So yeah, that prison was in Columbia, and then they moved her to Leith, which is closer. Like you said, and I guess in her situation, I mean, that's about all she's going to get. So I guess whatever, right? I mean, it happens, and it is what it is.
Right.
But that motherfucking pussy of hers got her into more fucking trouble than
Definitely.
She just needs to zip that motherfucker up and do something else. Start knitting or something. I don't know. But another crazy thing I saw that happened on that boat ramp, which is nuts, at that lake, 1996, there's a group of 10 people, which included 6 children. They went down the boat ramp to see the memorial, and their van fucking rolled into the lake. I bet they had transmission issues, which I'm thinking, why the fuck would you put the brake on with transmission issues there? I mean, of all places
put it in park
to do that, So I don't know what the fuck these people were thinking, but nonetheless, 7 were drowned. I'm not sure how many of the 7 were children, but my God. And then the same divers that recovered Michael and Alex recovered these 7.
How fucking crazy is
wow.
that?
I mean,
But it's a small town in a county.
It's the obvious answer that fucking boat ramp's haunted.
Right.
Duh.
Something, yeah. Scooby-Doo needs to find out, what fucked up kids are messing up the situation. So just a weird coincidence, but lightning striking twice in that one place. Yeah, maybe a place not to go especially if you're in a car having
Just don't take your
transmission
car
problems.
on the fucking boat ramp.
Right. Walk down there. So guys, anything to add to this crazy ass fucked up murdering Mama May?
No.
The only other thing I saw was, okay, so we're talking about David Smith. Like, for all outward appearances, he seemed like a pretty legit, nice dude.
Right.
Now, I don't think he had anything to do with their deaths, and that's why nothing else was ever looked into it. But you hear other things about the how there was cheating going on both sides.
Right.
So he was.
He was no altar boy, that's for sure.
But Tom Finley, when he was on the stand, he was testifying. Also, he said about David Smith that one time when Susan Smith was in the house, David Smith was, I don't know where he was at, in a cabinet or wherever the fuck he was at. He was hiding somewhere, or like in a closet or something. Heard her talking to Tom, jumped out, fucking grabbed the phone, and he started telling me, I'm going to fucking get you. I'm going to get you, motherfucker, to Tom. And fucking Tom Finley, he testified that he started sleeping with a gun under his pillow because he fucking for real thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, I mean, David Smith, like we said, we didn't hear too many bad things, but there might have been a little more issues in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe that's why he didn't end up getting the kids as easily.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was creepy, though. He was just fucking hiding, like, bitch,
Yeah.
I caught you.
Right. Wow. I did my research with a variety of sources. I mentioned the documentaries. I watched a couple of different ones. American Justice, of course, was great. Also, because this is a fairly recent case, there's a lot of stuff out there for sure.
Since it got put on the news and everything, all kinds of shit.
Oh, yeah. True Crime All the Time was the podcast I mentioned. Those guys do a good job. They've been around for a while. I listen to them off and on, usually just for research now, but for a time I was listening to them, and they're a good show. They do true crime, and it's kind of PG-13 because, Chris, it took them like 200 plus episodes to talk about cannibals. And we did that like 5 times in the first 20. So we went a little cannibal tear.
That's funny.
Kind of due for a good cannibal story. What do you think?
Yeah.
So go check those guys out if you want to check them out. True crime all the time. Next week, guys, we got our last fucked up mom story. This one though is a very different kind of story, Chris.
Crazy fucking story, man.
Yeah, I mean Gypsy Rose Blanchard, a girl whose mom had everyone in the town thinking she had cancer, like
everyone,
MS,
everywhere, dude.
Yeah, like all sorts of medical issues. The kid was taking like 30 or 40 medicines.
Well, yeah, and then it got all these free
surgeries.
trips to Disneyland and everything, like all kinds of
They made
publicity.
him they gave him a house,
all kinds of crazy shit.
so her mom was fucking scamming, and but she had her believing, that she had some of this shit.
Yeah, had her believing,
which
she
is
had
fucked up, to be raised in that, But then she winds up killing the mom in 2015, and of course, it gets all nuts with her boyfriends involved in this whole thing. Yeah. So we got another just barn burner next week with this story, Gypsy
and
Rose.
We're going to have a friend with us.
Yeah, now I got a text from Justin. Joey's talking about Justin Morris, our listener, that actually suggested this episode. He sent me a text today. He says he may not be able to make it. He's got a commitment. He's doing everything he can to get out of being able to do it. So he's not off, but he said it's doubtful, but he's still going to try.
Right.
He's supposed to let me know by Friday. So hopefully Justin can be on with us.
God damn it,
but if
Justin.
not, Justin will do it proud.
Yeah.
Gypsy Rose. So thanks for that suggestion. And any of you guys that ever have suggestions, fire away. We always love the input. Also, this just came into the news here in our Horns High Studios yesterday. But I've been reading the new Harold Schechter book, guys, Maniac, which is really great. I love it, Chris. He has those one-word titles. All his books are, bestial and all the different demented, all these different words. But Maniac's about that Bath school disaster, which happened in Michigan in 1927 when a school board member went nuts and rigged up the school with fucking dynamite and blew it up, killed 38 kids and 6 adults. Horrible. And we're going to do that topic this summer, but I reached out to Harold and he agreed to do an interview with us. So that's awesome because he's an accomplished author. He's been on, Chris, with us before.
Yes,
we held our own, man. A PhD, college professor, book author. He's written almost 50 books. So he is extremely accomplished. And so it's a privilege we're going to get him on here to talk about the Bath school disaster. So really interesting story. And he's a legend for sure. So Harold Schechter, go check his stuff out. Joey, any good page a days now that we're doing it here in the murder segment?
Welcome to the murder segment. And yes,
right.
Doing the page a day. If for any reason anybody just listens to our murder segments and hasn't heard us do this, I got the page a day calendar at the beginning of this year, and I flipped through, and it's a true crime one, and they've given us a few tasty tidbits.
Oh man!
And always some entertainment. So
loving it.
So we're gonna start doing them here in the murder segment, kind of where they belong anyway. And so I got two stories they're talking about this time. Because the first one took place over a few days on the page today. But this is I like this one because this is a case that a lot of people also know. Now, we're talking about Susan Smith, and a lot of people recognize that name. A lot of people are going to recognize this name. And, whenever we do this, and with the whole argument over murderabilia and, the people taking advantage of the negative situations and all that.
Right.
I love remembering the victims and the cases that went down, so hopefully we can keep it fresh in our minds so we could recognize if it's going to happen again, or just
learn
try
from it.
Yeah. So this is a case right here that some people are going to remember, and it's the kidnapping of J.C. Lee DeGard, and I mean that was a huge case. So this was 1991. She's walking to a bus stop, and she's 11 years old at the time. Now, this car pulls up beside her. This is, I mean, you're not talking to strangers really back then, but you're not really
pushing
afraid
them
of them
away.
like
Right.
you are now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a different time.
It was a different time.
For
so,
sure.
so when the car pulled up, she's just thinking that he's going to ask her for directions or whatnot. So the window rolls down, and then the next thing she knows is she's being held down in the back seat by a woman drifting in and out of consciousness over a 3-hour ride back to what was Antioch, California. She'd been knocked out with a stun gun and abducted. Her stepfather, Carl Probin, he saw this happen.
Wow.
And he gave chase, and he was on a bicycle, but he couldn't keep up with the car, obviously.
Right.
But he like saw this whole fucking situation, which is terrible, you know. So you know, the press, everything comes down to Myers, California. There's volunteers searching for her just day in and day out. Flyers everywhere. Everybody's got pink ribbons, all that stuff.
Wow.
It was on America's Most Wanted within the week. Like
Right.
when that happened, they put it out that week.
Right.
She didn't turn up though, and despite all the national attention, support, she never showed up. Her mother, Terry Probin, I mean, she basically never ever stopped looking at her for the next 18 years.
That's so fucking sad, man.
Yeah. So, the people who abducted her were Philip and Nancy Garrido. Now, Philip had a rap sheet that was since back in 1972 when he was charged with sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl. The girl declined to testify, so the case never went to trial. Of course. He married his first wife within, the following year after he does this. She claims he was abusive and kidnapped her when she tried to leave him. So kidnapping's obviously
Obviously
MO.
his thing,
In
yeah.
1976, he kidnaps and rapes 25-year-old Catherine Calloway.
Jesus.
In court, he admitted to masturbating in his car while parked in front of elementary and high schools. Court-ordered psychiatric evaluation labeled him a sexual deviant and chronic drug abuser. So he gets 50 years and begins serving time in Leavenworth in Kansas.
Not a good place.
Right. Now, it's here that he meets Nancy Bocanegra while she's visiting her uncle. They get married at the prison in 1981. So he gets released from federal custody and state custody on January 22nd, 1988, and released on probation from the state prison 7 months later. So they moved to Antioch, which is also, Antioch's going to be the spot.
Right.
Right.
So to live with his elderly mother who had dementia. And that's where they kept, Casey. So now they've got her in captivity. They said that they had her stripped of her clothing by the time they arrived to their home in Antioch. They threw a blanket over her head. They brought her into a tiny soundproof shed in the backyard where Philip raped her for the first time, which of course he would continue to do. Afterward, he left her naked and handcuffed, locked in the shed, warning her that she's 11 years old,
Right.
warning her
Yeah,
that
fuck.
guard
My
dog.
God.
He's like, there's guard dogs that are going to attack you if you try to get out of here. So he would
God
visit her
damn,
in the
dude.
shed. He would bring her food. He would talk to her. Like he would tell her stories sometimes, other times like crying to her. Also, he would be like tearfully apologizing to her for what was going on.
God damn.
He eventually moved her into a larger room in a shed next to that shed. Shawback moving on up in the sheds. It was in this room that DeGard would give birth to the two daughters that she had with him in 1994 and
God.
Heard this
97.
before, yeah.
So
Jesus.
she did her best to homeschool them, even though she only had a 5th grade education. But she did, and we hear that with other women in these situations where they do the best they can for their kids, So on August 24th, 2009, 18 years after the kidnapping, Philip goes to a UC Berkeley police office with the daughters to inquire about a permit for an event. The officers notice
Yes, I know what you're talking
they
about.
notice his erratic behavior and the girl's sullen demeanor. So after a follow-up the next day, they call the parole board, believing him to be in violation of the terms of his parole. When they visit his home, finding only him, his elderly mother, and Nancy, they never saw the kids or anything like that. But they asked him, because he had driven 25 miles away from his home and was seen in the company of minors, that was violations of his parole. So they're like, so go see your parole office, go to the parole office next day. So he arrives there with Nancy, J.C. Lee DeGard, who they call Alyssa, and the daughters. So they're all there. So the officers separate all of them, and J.C. with that fucking, Munchausen or whatever.
Right, yeah, Munchausen.
She denied everything and went along with the whole story until they found out, she found out that Philip had admitted to kidnapping and raping her.
Oh, my God.
So this is kind of a long one. It's kind of a long one, but
that's fine.
Yeah.
This is not too that long ago that this happened.
No. So, okay. So now J.C. Lee DeGard, after she was, rescued from all this, and she has her 2 daughters, and
right.
She said that she wished every single day to see her mother while she was locked up in captivity. And after 18 years, they were able to see each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They said that the reunion went well, and the daughters seemed to be, pretty well adjusted. DeGard went on to write a memoir called The Stolen Life and Freedom, My Book of Firsts, about her captivity and reintegration into the world.
Wow.
She works with horses as part of her therapy to try to trust people again. Now, the Garridos, they initially pleaded not guilty to rape, kidnapping, and false imprisonment. Of course, they ended up getting found guilty. Philip got 431 years and Nancy got 36 years to life.
Damn.
Now, they were saying, a couple missed opportunities and, there's always hindsight with this. And the police will be criticized.
Always, yes.
But they were saying how the police failed to make a connection that DeGard was taken from the same area as Philip Garrido's previous kidnapping victim, Catherine Holloway. It was like it was the same neighborhood.
Wow.
In 2002, the fire department responded to an incident involving a minor with a shoulder injury at a swimming pool at the Garrido's property, but the information was never given to the parole officer. They never knew about it.
Wow.
A neighbor called the police on Philip in 2006, claiming he was psychotic and had people living in his backyard. The officers came and spoke with him for about 30 minutes at his door, but they didn't search the property and they let him off with a warning.
So he had the girl had them out in the backyard playing and shit.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure.
That's fucked up.
So in July 2010, the state of California issued a $20 million settlement to J.C. DeGard to compensate her for various lapses by the corrections department that contributed to DeGard's continued captivity, ongoing sexual assault, and mental and or physical abuse. So
Damn.
Wow.
that's the case of J.C. Lee DeGard.
Yeah.
I got a second one. It's not as long as that. So that one was
No,
long.
I remember
but,
hearing
oof.
about that not that long ago.
I know,
That's
and like
fucked
I
up.
said, that case was that's a good one to remember
Yeah.
because
She got out of it at least.
She did.
She got out
yeah.
of it at least, so that's
Yeah,
good.
good for her, but that's awful.
All right, so Page a Day. Thank you for that one. That one
Yeah.
kept me going for almost a fucking week. So this other one I got, this is the second one, and this is about Carol Edward Cole. And this is a guy from California. Now, this dude has an IQ of 152.
Yeah.
So he's a genius, but he's fucking dumb and he can't fucking stay out of trouble. So
Right.
we see that every now and then.
Yeah, fucking.
So as a young boy, he's dragged along with his mom as she was an adulterous woman and would go out on sexual liaisons. And
Right.
she would fucking take him home and beat him so that he wouldn't fucking talk about it to keep him quiet.
Oh,
so
wow.
we've seen kind of some shit like that with the whore mom, you know.
Right.
So his name's Carol Edward Cole, so you know he's bullied for his name. Considered a sissy name. We were talking about
Carol.
Beverly, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right.
When Cole was 8, he drowned one of the bullies. Now, I don't know what...
And he got. Yes.
I don't know whatever came out of this. Like, I need to look a little deeper into the story because it's super fucked up. But I know it's missing a lot of shit because it's just Page a Day. But yeah, he kills one of the bullies when
like
he's 8 years old.
Yeah.
Damn.
Now, as an adult, he's overcome with fantasies of raping and strangling women. Like he consciously recognizes that he's overthinking all this stuff, and so he goes to the cops for psychiatric help. They put him in a few mental institutions, and once he's released, he moves to Texas and gets married. Now, it's a fucking terrible relationship, toxic as fuck, and it ended in arson when he fucking burned down a motel where he thought his wife was fucking at. So he was sent to prison for that.
Oh, boy.
After he gets out, he attempts to murder an 11-year-old girl in Missouri, goes back to prison. He's released from that, and he's still experienced mental health issues. So he voluntarily turns himself in Nevada, like, "Yo, I'm fucked up." Like this is like he's done this like 3 times.
Wow.
And he's like, "Look, I've got problems." So they fucking take him into Nevada and basically ship him off to California. Like, oh, okay, now he's your problem. So he kills several women in California.
Oh my
goes
God.
up to Wyoming and kills one in Oklahoma, and then at least one more when he goes back to California before killing his second wife, Diana. Her body was found wrapped in a blanket in a closet, but still ruled a natural death because she was an alcoholic.
Oh my God.
So Cole returns to Texas and kills at least 3 more women. He fucking turns himself in and starts confessing to all these unsolved murders. And then, he gets life imprisonment with the possibility of parole in Texas. So he voluntarily faces murder charges in Nevada because he knows they got the death penalty, and he wants to die.
He's like, I know I won't stop.
Gotcha.
So he fucking voluntarily does that, and he gets the death penalty. He did get it. He would discourage like anti-capital punishment protesters and stuff that were trying to fight for him not to leave. He was like, no.
He's like, no, I
want
need
this
to
to be
die.
over
Yeah, he's
with.
like,
Yeah.
leave that shit alone.
People like me need to die.
Yeah, and he even like publicly fucking went out and thanked the judge for sentencing him. Like he was like, "Thank you so very much." And he ended up, dying of a lethal injection in 1985.
Wow.
But yeah, that's Carol fucking Cole.
Oh, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. We might have to do that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, very good. So, Joey, I think Chris, we've done our fair share of murdering tonight. Gave them all sorts of good shit tonight.
I like the new platform, honestly.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. So, Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
Let's get our metal on.
Known the world over as the master of metal, the crusher of posers, and Murder Metal Mayhem's knower of all things metal, hailing from Wild Van Street in Danbury, Connecticut, standing at 6 feet of brutal, punishing madness, weighing in at 220 pounds of poser pulverization, the one, the only, toughest bastard on the planet, Chris C.K. Kovacs! There he is, the guy with his intro music. CK,
yeah, what up,
what's
CK?
up?
Hell yeah.
He put his pants on for the
He
podcast.
did. He did. He's been running up and down Wild Man naked, throwing rocks. I don't know what your thing is with rocks lately, CK, but thankfully you came to your senses, threw some pants on, and you are now front and center on Murder Metal Mayhem talking about some fucking metal. So
And
I
I
know
just
you
want to
were,
apologize for
dude.
last week for
Hey, you know that was the whole reason everything broke down last week because neither one of us were here.
Yeah, the Chris's were out of the picture. That's funny. Yeah, that dude, that was completely understandable. For Christ's sake,
Yeah,
I mean,
dude, take care of yourself, man.
You got to worry about yourself. I know when I dealt with the cancer thing, I missed one show, and it pissed me off that I even missed the one show. And I can remember going to Columbia, Missouri, and puking out of the side of the van and going down there and doing a show. I just didn't want to
that's what-
fucking
that's
miss
what I
it.
felt like.
You just don't want to miss it. So I get it.
There were so many situations with last week's podcast. It just became its own little episode.
It really did. It really did. So, but I'm glad you put this off, CK.
It came out good.
That's what I
Good.
thought too. I
Came
thought
out
it was
good,
pretty
so-
decent.
Yeah, I think so. I think we did a good job, despite all the crazy stuff. But we put this
Yeah.
off, CK. We're doing all Brazil bands again tonight. You got a cool feature. I guarantee you that a lot of our metalheads out there listening have never heard of this band, and I know
we never heard.
I know
we
I
never
didn't.
heard of them until
Right.
And they've been out for
it came up on.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, just a Facebook best thrash metal band you never heard of,
Yeah.
and I clicked on it, and here they were. So,
Yeah,
what do you got for us?
I got Korzus, spelled Korzus.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, it is surprising that nobody's heard of them because they formed in '83
Yeah, 83,
and,
man.
in Sao Paulo. And they were around the same time as Sarcophago, Sepultura, Overdose. So they were around when Sepultura was just forming as well. So
Right.
I don't know how we never heard of them. Only thing I can think of is, they didn't have the record deals that had records released in America.
Right. Yeah, they pretty much kept themselves in Brazil,
Yeah, until like maybe the last like 10 years, 12, 13 years that they had the last couple albums released in America. But again, they were formed in Brazil. The original lineup was, as far as I can tell, was Marcelo Pompu. Forgive me if I misspelled.
Yeah, the names are tough with it being in Portuguese.
Yeah, Silvio Gofetti, and just Dick on bass guitar.
Yeah, Dick Siebert.
Yeah. So the early days, they for the first album they were recording on an album. They were on a Brazilian metal compilation.
Okay.
And considering they didn't really have money to go in the studio, the debut album was actually a bunch of live recordings they just put together.
Nice.
Okay.
I guess when you don't have money, that's what you do.
Right.
It's, the cheapest thing
Bands
to do.
are very resourceful, man.
Right, and it's impossible to find that fucking album. Good luck trying to find that.
I'm sure.
So that's not gonna happen, man. If you do, it's gonna cost so much fucking money.
And their proper first debut album was called Sono Maniaco, which was sung in Brazilian.
Portuguese.
So that was Portuguese.
Brazil.
Well,
I love saying that too. It's in Brazilian, bro. They speak Portuguese, but it's Brazil.
Yeah. And through that time, they've had lineup changes. With as far as I said, the members that they are now are Marcelo Harris Trench on guitar, Antonio Arujo on guitar, Dick Siebert on bass, and Rodrigo Oliveira on drums. So that's the
the singer and the bass player are the only two that have been there since the beginning. But still, I mean, that's fucking amazing that those two have been at it for that fucking long, man. That's amazing.
38 years.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Hats off.
And just a side note, Silvio Gioffetti was a member of Agent Steel at one time.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that. That's really cool.
So he was actually a member of Agent Steel at one time, and came and played with Korzus.
That's cool, man. Yeah, those guys are amazing, man.
And again, they came out in '89 with the first album sung in English, "Pay for Your Lies," which I can't find anywhere. I've looked.
Yeah.
I don't think it's available on streaming, so I don't think you can stream that one. Because the only one I know that streams is Mass Illusion, which is '91, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I was able to actually find that on CD. KZS was released in '94. That's impossible to find.
Some of the stuff is in Portuguese, but most of it is in English. But like on an album, they might have a couple of songs they sing in Portuguese,
right,
and the rest are all in English. So no matter what your taste, these guys are really kick ass. I love the stuff you're getting ready to start talking about because
definitely.
When Antonio got in the band, I think they really fucking cranked it up a notch.
Yeah, I think
guitar-wise.
I think that's where they put. That was a step above what they were doing with Antonio.
I mean, they were
arrived.
killing it, but Antonio just brings it, man. He's just wicked.
Yeah, he's just a wicked guitar player and songwriter, and gets the job done for sure. Yeah. And again, KCS was released in '94. I know that's available to stream. And the next three albums are probably the albums that I think are the albums that you need to have in your collection if you're going to buy any album by them.
Right.
Ties of Blood, which is amazing. Came out in 2004. Discipline of Hate in 2010.
Yeah.
And fucking Legion in 2014, which
Holy
is
shit.
killer.
Yeah. Legion and Discipline of Hate are the two that I have on CD, but I've heard some of the other ones you're talking about. But man, those two, holy shit. That's really strong material. Really good stuff.
And for the most part, they've toured in Brazil, but they have toured in America.
Once, I think.
They played once. They played with Biohazard and SOD.
Oh, man.
So if you're lucky enough to see them on that tour, God bless you, because I would love to see them live. And it sounds like right now they're not planning on doing anything live at the moment.
Right. They're trying to figure out what's going on with all this shit.
Yeah, I know you're going to be playing the interview with...
we had a chance to talk with Antonio Arugio of Korzus, the guitar player we were just talking about. He's amazing. It was a good conversation.
It was a great conversation. I'm not going to spoil the how they got the name,
how
because
they
he
came up with
explains
the
that
name.
in the which is really a real funny story.
It is funny. Now,
But,
I got like a 10-minute clip I'm going to play of that.
Yeah. Again, these guys came out in '83. Great thrash band, and again, it's amazing that nobody knew of them.
Right.
I still can't believe it.
I know, especially in the streaming age. It's amazing they've gotten by at least my radar. So, all right.
And especially mine, which I'm like usually on top of everything.
Always on the lookout.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I'm proud that I brought this one to the table.
I must have missed it.
I brought this one to the table, CK.
And usually, like when a band like Sepultura gets big, people try to
find
emulate that,
find as much as they can as far as Brazilian
because these
bands.
guys were around before Sepultura.
I know Sarcophago had a couple
right
albums
before,
released in
but
America.
still,
So did
legit, man. These guys are killer.
Overdose. But for some reason, these guys just weren't able to break in America.
Yeah.
But definitely check them out. Listen to this 10-minute interview that we got for you, that me and Pete did. And also, we'll be releasing the full interview.
Right.
Which is awesome. It was a great conversation between all three of us.
Like 33 minutes, I think, of talking with Antonio. And we're going to release that the day after this one goes live. So, all right, well, let's play that clip, CK. 10 minutes of that discussion with Antonio.
All right. Hey, Pete. Hey, CK. It's a pleasure to be talking to you guys and we're Metal Mayhem. And, well, it's the first time we're talking. So, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
Antonio, this is CK. Pete and I just recently discovered you guys and we're amazed that, Korzus has been around since 1983. When did you join the band?
Oh, yeah, I joined the band in 2008. It's been 13 years now. Actually, I am 2 years younger than the band itself. I was actually, no, I'm lying. 1 year younger. I was born in '84 and the band began in '83. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a funny thing because Korzus is a band that, of course, we are aware that it isn't a big name outside of Brazil. It's a very underground name, and maybe some people portray Korzus as a cult band from Brazil for its old,
Right.
But Korzus never had a career, an actual career outside of Brazil because back in the day, in the beginning in the '90s, Europe, after the release of one of the classic albums that is called Masillusion, they did some touring, and they also did some touring in the US in the '90s, but there was no continuity because the band had problems with formation. Musicians left the band and all that, and they had to rebuild. And it is what it is. And Korzus is basically a very well-known band in Brazil and some other countries in South America as well. But still in Europe and in US, we are still an underground band. So that's why we don't tour that much, not as much as we would like to, because touring is, high cost. And for us being a bunch of old guys, it doesn't make sense to travel and pay for everything,
Right. Makes sense.
To tour, not make any money.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Really doesn't. Most of us are parents, so,
Right. Makes it harder to just get up and leave. Now, what does the band, does Korzus have a meaning? I wondered if that was a word or where did that come from? What does that mean?
It's a funny story, dude. Actually, from that's what the guys tell me about it, because I wasn't there in the beginning. Actually, I wasn't even born. but they tell me that back in the beginning of the 80s here in Brazil, there were not that much headbangers. It was like small tribes,
Right.
And some friends would just join together and start sharing whatever they had access to. Of course, there was no internet, nothing like that. So it was hard to get a hold of good material and new stuff about bands, Maybe, of course, in the US and in Europe, it was completely different. But here in Brazil, things would get here at least 1 year after they were released, So there was a big delay for this information to get here, to the Brazilian headbangers to have access to, new Iron Maiden release or new Slayer release or whatever. So this was how it was, and some friend that had money enough to go travel Europe and buy the records and would come back and just start recording a bunch of cassettes to to his friends, and the thing would spread like this,
Right.
So about the name, back in the day here in Brazil, I know that in the underground scene, it was a very common thing for people to have nicknames. So if you take, for instance, Max Cavalera from Sepultura, the original vocalist,
right?
He used to call himself Max Possessed.
Okay.
I remember reading about that.
Yeah, because this was common here in Brazil. So he was Max Possessed, and everybody had some kind of nickname, probably related to a band or whatever, or even a fucking strange name that someone would come up with,
right.
And so in that case, Korzus fits right there, because there was this guy that was friends with the guys. His name was Marcus, and his nickname was Korzus. And he would call himself Marcus Korzus, with a K. The first show actually that Korzus did, the band was called Hand of Doom. This was back in '83. It was a small gig in their school. They were playing in a school festival.
Right.
So they were called Hand of Doom because of the Black Sabbath song and all that.
Yeah.
And so they were discussing like, hey, dude, I don't know, Hand of Doom, this name is kind of lame, we need something better. And so someone saw in the wall of the dressing room that this dude had painted on the wall, Marcus Korzus. And someone looked at it and said, well, Marcus fucking sucks, but Korzus sounds kind of cool.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Said, yeah, well, it does. So it
that's
became
great.
the name of the band.
That's one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. That's great.
Yeah. So pretty much it's a made up name. It means fucking nothing.
That's awesome. Well, the Marcus though, he must think that he's pretty cool. Now he's got the band's name. Yeah.
38 years after that, and I met Marcus actually.
Oh,
I met
no
him
way.
like
That's
2 years ago. Yeah, and the guys were like, "Hey, this is Marcus Korzus," and I was like, "Fuck, nice to meet you."
Right?
So,
that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, so that's that's the story behind it. And if you want to elaborate a little bit more, he said the guys that he took the name from some character that he saw in a horror movie, but he never said the name of the fucking horror movie, so probably he made it up.
Right, so right. That's funny.
Yeah. You guys released a single recently. Can you tell us a little bit about that song And is there going to be a full album coming out soon? Hopefully soon. We hope.
Yeah, bro. We actually, it's been like Korzus has a characteristic about releasing records. If you look at the story of the band, you're going to see that there's always a big space between every record we do. You know, first because the band has had problems with musicians in the past leaving the band and all that, so they needed time to reformulate. You know,
Right.
But nowadays,
labels.
yes, everything. But nowadays, it's truly a matter of maybe that we are old, you know, and we're picky with everything, you know. So it's like we just don't settle for anything less than what we think is something good enough to carry the name Korzus, you know.
Okay.
So that's why it takes some time for us to make a new record. And right now, the last one that we released was Legion back in 2014, and we were pretty much 7 years without releasing anything. And in this pandemic, insane fucking year, we started writing together. And our other guitarist, his name is Eros Trench. He came up with this song and he showed us, and everybody loved it at first. And there was a whole concept behind it. And well, we everybody bought the idea, and we decided to do a single. So right now, what we are thinking of doing is not actually recording a full album again. We are thinking of following the footsteps of many pop music artists nowadays, and spend some time releasing singles and see where it goes from there.
Okay.
You know, so we have released this first one. We are currently working on a second single, and we intend to make it all in the same format with a musical video, high quality stuff, as you can see on this first one.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe try this new way of working and see what happens.
Okay, that's cool. Now, one thing that's interesting about you guys is that some of your songs are in Portuguese. Of course, you're from Brazil, but most of your... All right, so there's a little taste of that, CK, and let our listeners hear that. And definitely going to want to hear the whole thing. So,
yeah, it was a great interview. We had a good time interviewing him. And you know, like I said, the story of how they got the name is great, and
yeah,
I can't do justice to it as much as he can. So
no, it's cool to hear him talk about it. His English is really good too.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty clean. Yeah,
you know, really, really good.
Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. All right,
Definitely.
CK, what's your lost classic for us this week, man?
My lost classic today is we're gonna go back to about 1980. Thin Lizzy Renegade. Now, pretty much any Thin Lizzy album could be a lost classic,
Right.
except for maybe Jailbreak, because everybody knows Jailbreak. But I picked this because it's just a great album. It came, you know, it was a couple albums after Jailbreak. I think it was 79 or 80 they put this out. It's just a great album. It's available to buy as far as physical copy. Definitely you could stream it. And again, I said any Thin Lizzy album, it to me is a lost classic, because they should have been huge in America, and they never were. And so many bands were influenced by them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know you're all about Thin
Yeah,
Lizzy.
check out
and
Thin
those-
Lizzy Renegade.
Good call on the lost classic. All right. Well, I hear that
But,
familiar
definitely
music.
check them out.
Hear that familiar music.
Six.
Fucking six. Our buddies in Onslaught. Let's check this out and then talk about what we've been
Hell
listening
yeah.
to. All right, some 6 fucking 6 means we're going to talk about what's been hitting our ears. And Chris, why don't you start it off? What have you been listening to?
Oh, Actually, yesterday we were sitting, me and Cashman, Michael and shit, we were sitting around, and we were just on YouTube for a while yesterday, just watching fucking Obscene Extreme Fest fucking videos. And I got to tell you, Europeans are fucking crazy, dude. But yeah, we were listening to a bunch of Gutelaks, fucking, dude, I can't even remember what all we fucking, just a bunch of shit from
Brutal.
Yeah, fucking all kinds of brutal shit from OEF. And today at work, I was jamming some fucking Misery Index.
Nice.
Fucking Misery Index.
Oh, hell yeah.
I definitely had to listen. And then today I like popped into my head. I listened to the first Deicide, fucking the self-titled.
Brutal.
Love that shit.
Brutal.
And some shit
That's
off
a
of the fucking,
great album.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like one of my favorites. And I listened to some shit off of that. I've been listening to some songs off of that. From I don't know how long ago it was that Roadrunner United album. There's a few songs on there that I like the one with, the one with Glenn Benton's all. I fucking love that song. But it's just random songs.
That's the one. That's where Ripper does King Diamond, correct?
Yeah, and dude, that's one song that King Diamond does vocals on that I like. That In the Fire song off of that album. I fucking dig that song. So.
Yeah, Ripper does a great job on that song.
Nice. Very cool. Joey, what about you, man?
I've been listening to a lot.
You were in the 419, so
I was in the 419. I was cruising around all over the place, and fucking just listening to a lot of music. But Nephilim,
yeah, CCK is holding a 419. Was that like a classified ad type thing, or?
One of those free things
it's like
that
a
you get
tourist
at the gas
thing.
station.
Yeah, but it says Discover 419.
Yes, it does.
You're holding it, CK or CCK. So.
I heard Joey was listening to some Air Supply.
Air Supply, maybe some live Air Supply. That shit's
Air
nice.
Supply, some Bay City Rollers.
But no, I was listening to Nephilim Grinder Spiritual Torment. That's their new album. That shit just came out. Fucking straight brutal fucking death metal. Sick as fuck. I was listening to Black Flag. Everything Went Black. Can't go wrong with Henry Rollins.
Good choice.
Right?
I was listening to some Spineshank. I hadn't listened to them in a long time.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That KMFDM Nile album. I was listening to Motorhead March or Die.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I was listening. This is crazy. So, I was listening to the Metallica S&M album, and I burnt that album.
One or two.
Both of them. But I burnt that album probably, like, 2010, I'd say. No. Way before that. 2004. 2003, maybe. I don't know. A long-ass time ago.
Right,
It's literally been like 17 years that I burnt these two albums. I've never listened to them once, I don't think.
Right.
Like, actually put them in a player or whatnot.
Right.
On the road trip, so Stephanie from Toledo, she was down with us last week taking Chris's spot, and I drove back to Toledo so I could go hang out with the Crips in Findlay. And me and her were caravanning.
I mean the non-existent Crips.
Yeah, exactly. So me and her were caravanning and whatnot, but we get back to my house, and the next morning she gets in my car, and I had that S&M album in there. And she was like, holy shit, and she pulls up her fucking history, and she had been listening to it too.
Oh, that's funny.
On the way home. Yeah, that was fucked up.
That's weird.
I was
Okay,
like,
that's creepy.
and I hadn't fucking listened to that, like I said, in like 17 years or
That's
some
funny.
shit. So I was listening to that, and then a couple other things I was listening to. I got this band Glory Glory in the CD player right now, and they're just like a little bit of mixture of all different kinds of fucking rock.
They were pretty, I was wondering what
Yeah.
that was on the way here.
Shit's
Dude.
sick,
I
though.
liked it.
And then one other thing I was listening to, and that's because Rick Fisher from Sick Rick Mass.
Yeah, did you find that?
I did. I found a few. His band Ripped. He was talking about it today. He made a post about it. I was like, man, where can I hear some of these songs?
Right.
You know? And he posted me a link, and I was able to do a little bit more digging. But they got this one song called Through the Eyes, and I think it was from like 1990 or something. Some thrash, though, like heavy shit.
Yeah.
And,
I want to hear it.
Yeah, man. So our
think Rick
buddy
plays
Sick
bass on
Rick,
it.
man, fucking
Yeah, hell
in the
yeah.
thrash, man.
Ripped. That's
And
awesome.
Gaither did the artwork.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. Very, very cool. All right. CK, what about you, man?
I've been listening to Korzus, which I've been listening to some Sepultura as well. Still listen to that new Cannibal Corpse, which is killer.
It's nasty.
And as far as, like old school, I've been listening to like Queensryche and Fate's Warning and Dream Theater.
That's cool.
Fucking right.
Yeah, I've been jamming that Korzus. The last one, I think that they released on CD, at least here, the Legion, which is killer. And then
Legion.
before that, Discipline of Hate. Both of those I've been jamming in my car on CD. I've been jamming Power Trip. And then also just going some old school Ozzy, digging on some old Black Sabbath and Ozzy too. So little mix of a few different things. So,
Nothing wrong with that.
No. Now, I did want to bring it up, even though it's kind of dumb to even mention it, but it's like I can't help but. The whole Iron Maiden thing getting snubbed by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, I know none of us really give a fuck about it, but it's the idea of it. I mean, they call it that, and then they let in Jay-Z and the fucking
rock and
Goo-Goo,
roll.
or the Go-Go Girl, or what the fuck was it? The fucking
I
the girl
can
band, the
understand the
Go-Go's.
Go-Go's 'cause
Thank
they are-
you. The
they are-
Go-Go's.
they
It's
are
like,
rock.
seriously? I mean, over Iron Maiden? I mean,
Hey,
they've sold out arenas
It's
for
sad-
the
sad-
past 40 years. I mean, it's like unbelievable.
It's sad when you have Gene Simmons petitioning for Iron Maiden in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
He even said it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it's
You
absurd.
know, how they're not in.
Yeah.
But then you go back, and how can you not put in, classic bands like Boston,
Yeah.
Foreigner?
I couldn't believe that
those
Boston and
bands.
Foreigner weren't in there.
that is
They're
fucking
not
right.
in there.
You know,
Um,
those are classics. You
Deep
know?
Purple.
Right.
Yeah.
Deep Purple's
Deep
not
Purple's
in there.
not in.
Yeah, that's some.
I mean, how many
Jesus
people
Christ,
that
you
walk
also-
in that building, if you were to ask them, what song do you think epitomizes rock the most? I
It's
would
probably-
guarantee you Smoke on the Water, especially for somebody like my age
yeah.
or older,
No.
is going to be like,
It
that's
better-
the song that got me into listening to heavy music, you know?
You would think like
Right.
a song like "I Come Blood" would be that song.
Yeah,
It very
right?
well could for the latter generations, maybe. Right. Speaking of
Fucked with a
that,
knife.
what the fuck would David Ellefson of Megadeth been jerking off on Twitter, and some fucking girl who is barely legal, I guess, was watching it, and he was
Yeah.
engaging in this fucking little sex play
Hey,
online. I
that's
mean,
it was
don't do that
supposedly
shit online,
consensual.
dude.
right? That's fucking stupid. And one of her
But-
friends, I think,
But,
busted
but
him
if
out.
you're a public figure, why would you do anything like that?
Yeah, and
on-
he's
on
married
Twitter
too.
or
That's
any,
just not right.
any social media place.
Yeah, don't.
You're a public figure. You know somebody's going to see it and they call you out on it.
Yeah, it's just very, very stupid. So I just couldn't help but mention with the highbrow humor that we have here. So,
Like,
all right.
I'm jerking off on you, girl.
Our 666 Club, we've talked about it before, our Patreon. We
Thank
appreciate
y'all.
those that do that for us.
Oh, yeah, thank
$3
y'all,
a
man.
month is all it is. You get all sorts of VIP access. You get the episodes a day early. You get the karaoke when it's done. You get 10% off our merch. And speaking of merch, we got those new T-shirts.
Yes, we do.
Jeff Gaither design, zombie on the front, blood
Killer.
spatter on the back.
Shit's
Absolutely
pretty
brutal.
baller, man.
Full color, both sides. Amazing quality. So go follow the episode description. I got links to that. You can order one today.
Get you one.
That's right. We'll throw in some free stickers. Those
Before they sell out.
die cut stickers we got from Stuck Up Sticker
Fucking
Company
right.
are amazing. So, all right. So get your heavy metal merch on Murder Metal Mayhem.
Fucking
got
A.
that stimulus
Go get it.
check. There's another one I think coming. So
Are
Them
you
Biden
serious?
bucks.
you might as well.
Biden
fucking
bucks,
Biden. So, all right. Well, we've done plenty of metal tonight, guys. So, CK, what the fuck do we need to do?
We got to get our mayhem on.
The gift of death is for him to heaven. It will destroy. I still shall rise above, go to web and explode. And the way man is to blame. The dreamer without faith, the bloodshed. I am the fire. Just
Thanks for calling Joe Boy Alligator Wrestling. How can I help you?
Well, a friend of mine said you guys do birthday parties for kids.
Yes, that's right. Our gators really love little kids.
Wait, you mean you let small children near the alligators?
Yes, it's a lot of fun. We have several videos on our site where you can watch it. The alligators love when one of the children get cut. The smell of blood drives them nuts. Turns them into a feeding frenzy.
That doesn't sound like something I want for my daughter's 5th birthday party.
You might want to reconsider. We're running a special this month for $49.95. You can have up to 10 kids fight the gators for an hour, and we'll throw in free pizza and birthday cake with ice cream for any of the kids that survive.
What the fuck?
I love the way it sounds like he says ice cream.
That was awesome.
Oh man, Michael doing
Fuck
some
yeah,
Joe
That
Ball.
was awesome.
Fuck yeah, ding
And
dong.
CK, the caller with that one, that was great. And before that, how about fucking Korzus, Devil's Head off the Legion album, or is that off Legion? Or yeah, I think it's Legion. Badass. So really dig those guys.
Yes, I think it's Legion.
Yeah, I ripped it from the CD, so it sounds really good. So CCK, I am finally listening to you again with the physical copies. So
Was that like C as in CE or CK?
yeah, it was C.
Sounds
CK.
much better, right?
It does.
Do you see
it does.
CK?
I mean, I knew it. It's just I had to be reminded. So, all right, well, guys, we are in Mayhem now, and Mayhem is a pretty crazy place to be. I do have. It's not a crazy long story, but it's a shipping story.
Yeah.
That's just recently happened to me. This is bizarre. Jenny and I watched the Tales from the Crypt, the Creep Show.
Yeah.
The new Creep Show. Love that. The TV series.
Still gotta see that.
We went old school and we're watching the original movies, and then we got into watching Tales from the Crypt. And so anyway, we've been getting into it, and so we thought, well, we'll just buy the whole set, so we have them all, And so she was looking on Amazon. I went on eBay, and I found a really good deal for the first 7 or all 7 seasons.
Of Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah, of Tales from the Crypt off
that's
off
badass.
eBay. It was pretty cheap. It was like $28. I'm like, fuck yeah.
For the whole fucking
Yeah,
thing?
for the whole thing.
God
damn,
So
I
I ordered.
want
No,
that.
well, let me tell you.
right,
Let me
that's
tell
not
you what's
bad.
going
yeah,
on.
well, yeah, let's finish this.
Here, this is a good one. So I order it,
Oh.
and the seller doesn't tell me, or it says it's shipped, but I don't have a tracking number. So I don't know how it's coming to me, when it's. And I sent the person a message like, "Hey, can you give me a tracking?" Because here with the mail, if it comes UPS, it gets
On
delivered
your
to the
porch.
house.
Otherwise, it's in
Most
your post
office, it's at the post office, not to the house. So it's where I live and the craziness that I deal with. So anyway, not getting any response. So then I get a message from eBay that says it's been delivered to the house, but it was sent UP or USPS.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that can't be. I don't get the mail to my house. I got to go get it at the post office.
Right.
And when it's delivered to the P.O. box, it says, I could hear the train.
Yeah, the train's
920
loud.
It says it was delivered to the house, not the P.O. box, because that's normally what it will say.
Nah, you're good.
So anyway, I go to the post office. It's not there. I show the postmaster there what's going on. She's like, "That's weird." She types in the tracking on her system,
Right.
and she's like, "Yeah, it was delivered to a house like on Kickapoo Street."
So not
Which is
even your
another
fucking
street
house, yeah.
altogether, like not my street, not my name even.
That's fucked up.
So I'm like, that is fucked up. So I'm like, what the hell? So I contact the seller. I'm like, hey, it says I got this, but I didn't, and I told them what happened. No response,
Oh.
So I contact eBay. I'm like, hey, this happened. Like, what the hell? So they step in, and of course they refund me the money, and it's done. That's why I deal with them. Because
Right.
if I have an issue, which is very rare, they take care of it. So I'm kind of bummed. I really wanted the fucking
your money
DVDs.
back.
I got the money back, right? So I go to a different seller on there,
Don't tell
a
me.
different one, and I find it for a couple bucks more, but pretty close.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck yeah, that's cheap, because some of them wanted 80, 90
Right,
bucks.
That's
for
what
it.
I've seen it for. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
what I'm
saying.
saying.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah.
Oh,
So I
shit.
order them again. Okay.
Fuck that.
So I order it again from a different seller. It's not the same person. I order it again. It says it's shipped, but no tracking.
Oh, fuck.
Same goddamn shit.
So I contact them, and I get no tracking, and then I got a thing that said it was delivered to the house that it was set by my garage by FedEx, though, not the U.S. mail, FedEx. So I'm like, why would they set it back here at the garage? Like it's off the alley.
Okay.
It doesn't
Yeah,
make
that
any
don't make
sense, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this can't be that this fucking happened twice. I mean, like,
God
what
damn
are the
it.
odds? So I contact FedEx with the tracking, and it was delivered to someone else on North 100 Road, which is out in the country here, just out in the country. And I contacted the seller. I'm like, I'm wondering if this is the same person, but just
different
operating
fucking-
under a
one of-
different
yeah.
identity. Because I'm not getting a response, so
Right.
now I've taken it to eBay. So, what the fuck?
Holy shit,
That's
dude.
fucked up.
So I told Jenny, I'm like, maybe we just weren't meant to have these fucking DVDs. I mean, I don't understand. It's just
Dude,
very strange.
when there's no fucking tracking number, you know that's a bad sign, dude.
Yeah, and it's just odd, you know, the way
I would have went to the other house they said it got delivered to, but
They
like,
wouldn't give me the
usually-
address because I was going to go there. I drove up and down because I've had them delivered to South Walnut before.
right,
And it was sitting out in somebody's driveway, and I went and it had my name on it. I'm like, this is mine.
this is my shit. Fuck you.
But I
yeah.
was hoping somebody would come out just so I could explain to them, I'm not stealing
Yeah.
your packages, that this is mine. I live at 105, you know. So
Oh,
anyway.
shit.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
So does anybody else have any?
I was just gonna bring up. Go
Well,
ahead.
I don't have a.
Go ahead, CK.
It's not a per se mayhem story, but you ever like you're on the internet and
I've
something
been
pops
on the
up
internet
with
and something's popped up before.
like somebody popping zits. Yeah, but like a video of somebody
Yeah,
popping
those are
zits.
disgusting, man. Yeah.
So you watch it.
I don't,
then,
but yeah.
Then you get heavily involved. So you go on YouTube.
Oh,
And you watch
God.
this shit. And I'm watching some of this shit, and I'm like, how do you let something grow to the size of a fucking grapefruit and not do anything about it?
Right?
Well, the fucking
And you're
Lenny
in your
with the
kitchen,
fucking big old
you're in
cunt
your
on his
kitchen
back.
with like your girl. Yeah,
That's just crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
you got a video of somebody in his kitchen with his wife or girlfriend with a knife,
Oh, my
cutting
God.
him open and popping this thing, and like,
I don't know.
how do you
dude.
let it grow
It's
like
crazy.
that?
Dude, my fucking
I
daughters
don't
will sit there and watch
understand.
that fucking Dr. Pimple Popper like, Dad, check this out. It's so gross. I'm
Those
like,
are so
it's pretty
disgusting.
fucking nasty.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, CK, I know we weren't able to do it last week because you were down.
Hold on. Casper was going to say something
You
real
got
quick.
something, Ken?
No, I was just gonna fucking bring up our new our new
product.
decoration.
Yeah, we got these from Stephanie, right?
Yeah. Being a fan of the Dr. Geen vagina maintenance commercials.
Nice. She brought us some bath products.
Yeah, and it's Dr. Geen's vagina toilet spray.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
it is.
it says it's guaranteed to freshen up the lavatory after those putrid vagina smells. And it says spray 1 to 3 times depending on the degree of crotch rot for a refreshing washroom experience.
Fucking love it, dude.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Stephanie. Yeah, these are really classy. Classes up the place.
Yeah,
you know?
so those fit
That's
in nicely
awesome.
at Horn's
Yeah,
High.
they're beautiful.
Fucking right.
Beautiful. Now, CK, I know that WVK got all fired up when he heard about old Creole. Have you got a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, he was a little pissed off. He couldn't.
No
he's
way. You
actually
got
on the other
Oh
line. Hold on.
fuck, man. This is a big deal here. What's
Oh,
up,
oh, hey
WVK?
guys. Oh, what's up, Paul? You know, I kicked the shit out of this 419 asshole. Oh, and now I got some old King Creole calling me out on some shit. What's up with
I
this
don't know,
shit?
man. He sounds
I gotta
pretty
kick his
tough,
ass, too?
WVK.
He's not taking. Oh, fuck him! I got the belt. He doesn't have the belt. I'm the
Well, yeah, you
world
beat
champion.
Punky. I
Fuck
mean, that's
him.
for sure. You legitimately beat Punky.
You know them good old boys from the Bayou. They fucking don't give a shit.
I kicked the shit.
Yeah, he's from the Boudreaux Inn, man. I don't know.
This whole kick. If he wants to fight me, that's fine.
Okay, so you're challenging
But if
old
not,
Creole?
His ass could go back to if not, he could go back to to Louisiana and fucking cook some gumbo or some shit.
All right.
Because I'll kick the shit out of him too.
All right. Okay.
I'm
Well, you
training
got
now.
Punky laid up. I mean, you cut him up pretty
But
good.
if you have any questions, fuck him. If you have any
He said,
questions,
well,
but
fuck
training,
Wow.
my agent,
Your agent.
And-
Wow, you got an agent now? You're
my
training in the
agent,
dungeon?
and my manager, CK will contact me. But fuck him, I'm calling this asshole out.
All right. All right. Well, we'll pass the word to old Creole. We'll
Oh,
see what
shit.
he's got
Should
to
be
say.
scared.
Where should we? We'll have to decide
Okay.
where we're going to
No.
fight. Does he have to come
Old King
to?
Creole. Fuck
Does he
him.
have to come to you, WVK? Like Madison Square Garden?
I'll go to him. Fuck
Madison
him.
Square Garden, maybe. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see what he says.
All
All right. You better get back to training,
Maybe he comes
WVK.
to Dutch and I'll kick the shit out of him. Okay. Nice talking to you guys.
All right, WVK. Train hard, dude.
Bye.
All right. Later. Wow, CK, that was pretty awesome, man.
He's pissed.
Yeah,
sounds
he
like it,
sounds
dude.
fucking jacked up,
Goddamn.
man.
He's pissed.
So old Creole,
He's
we'll
all-
see what he's got to say about that.
He's all fired up. His little stuttered slipped away. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
he
shit.
was all
It's
fucking
like, fuck
just
that,
letting
dude.
it loose. Wow. All right,
God
well, that's always fun. So we got a matchup
If I'm
coming
telling
up
him to
here.
go cook him some gumbo and shit.
Yeah, go back to Louisiana and cook some gumbo.
Better tell old Creole to cook some gumbo just in
Oh,
case.
yeah, I'll eat me some gumbo. Hell yeah.
Cajun. Well, I ordered a proof copy of my new book, Creation of Chaos 3, that I should have hopefully in about a week. And once we give them the green light, the first printing will be set in motion. Then we'll be able to set the release date because we have to, as you guys know, shipping is really fucked up. I was just telling a story about that. So I need to make sure that I'm going to have them so that the release date is legit. But it's looking like the last week of June or the second week of July. I don't want to do it the week of the 4th with all that going on. So it'll be either right before that or right after the 4th of July. Advanced orders will start as soon as the release date is set. The posters and the bookmarks will be here tomorrow, UPS, and I'm anxious to see how they turned out.
Awesome.
Everybody that does an advance order gets a free 11 by 17 color poster, a bookmark, a copy of the audio book, which I'm kind of finishing up now, and a Blunt Force Press t-shirt while they last. So that's a hell of a deal for the advanced order of the book. And I will send them out as soon as I get them. So you will hopefully get them before the release date. So especially if it's second week of July, you'll probably have them by the end of June. So
It's probably going to be delivered FedEx.
yeah,
no
to the wrong
tracking.
address. No, I don't have to worry about that with this. This is Amazon. So, all right. Killer Cage
Did you
match.
see that?
What's-
Just because you said Amazon, when he divorced his wife, she got like something like $38 billion.
Oh my God!
And he
He's probably like whatever.
and he made it back
Yeah.
in 2 months. I was like,
Jesus Christ, that's just not right, man.
How
Wow.
sad is that?
That's
God damn.
insane. What are we doing?
wrong? Guys start selling
Jesus.
books.
Fucking
I'm just
shit.
trying to peddle a
Can
few
I just
Guys
get
books.
start
$38?
selling books and he's a trillionaire.
All right, we got a Killer Cage match to get to tonight, guys.
Shit, I'll take 10.
This is where we come up with a list of 70 killers, 70 objects, and our listeners pick the random numbers that provide us who is going to fight in the cage to death. Chris, who's our listeners
Yes,
this time?
once again, we have Cody Durst.
Yep.
We got Roger Smith. And we got Samantha Cram. What
Hell yeah.
up?
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Tonight, though, Joey, we've got a little bit of a size mismatch going on here.
Yeah, this one's a little bit.
Who's in the cage tonight?
It's all
big
month
time.
we've been having our fucking protagonist and our fucking story or our headline and story of murder.
Right.
So Susan Smith, she's one of the fighters, of course, and she's going to be fighting Belle Gunnis.
And you gotta think,
man.
we always do it when they did their shit. Like Susan was like what 23.
Yeah.
Right.
So and Belle Gittes is a big old horse.
Yeah.
And she's been doing this.
She's
shit.
a big girl, man. She was manhandling some guys.
fucking right. She was.
Pretty fucked up.
And if y'all didn't hear, next week we've already decided mother versus daughter match.
Yeah, the Gypsy Rose
Yeah.
Blanchard versus
Yeah,
her mom, who she
can't
wound
wait-
up
yeah.
killing in real life.
Like
so
the
it's fucked
objects
up.
and the variable are going to make a huge difference on this one.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
on
Yeah.
that one, yeah.
So we might even have some extra objects since we get the two determined. We'll pick some. We'll have like 3 or 4 objects in there. That'll be fun.
So Susan Smith versus the behemoth, Bill Gunnis.
That's right.
Tonight.
And CK, there's a couple of objects in the ring with them that might make it a little interesting. What do they got?
Yeah, they'll be fighting with a cattle prod and a brass butt plug covered in feces.
I mean, it is a butt plug. It makes sense.
Right.
And the variable is a 55-gallon drum
man.
of
The
giant
Madagascar
cockroaches.
Yeah. So
let's
that
get it
sounds like
on.
a hell of a deal. So we got
get this
Susan
shit on.
Smith and Belle Gunnis fighting to death in a cage with a cattle prod and a brass butt plug covered in feces and a 55-gallon drum of giant hissing fucking cockroaches. So, Chris, what do you think tonight, man?
I think so. If they're in the cage and the weapons or objects are in the middle, and then there's a variable. Belle Gunnis, she's just a beast anyway. She just goes over, dude. She just grabs the fucking 55-gallon fucking thing of roaches while fucking Susan's going into the middle trying to get a weapon. Tosses the whole thing. She don't give a shit about cockroaches.
Drum
dude.
and all?
Yeah, just tosses the whole thing. Like picks it up over her head, dude, and just fucking chucks the whole thing. Cockroaches flying everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Smashes.
That'd be nasty, man.
dude. She don't give a shit though. She's
Right.
fucking Belle Gunnis.
Well,
How fucking done worse?
Right.
Fucking,
She's
I
the
don't give a
female
fuck.
Bluebeard.
Yeah,
She's
like she
brutal.
don't give a shit.
Plus you're
So
fighting.
she tosses that at her
Yeah.
fucking.
Plus you're fighting a
Right.
child
So she'll
killer.
give it. Well, Belle Gunnis probably didn't give a shit about that
Yeah.
either. So. But so she goes and fucking smashes fucking Susan with the fucking thing of cockroaches flying everywhere. She might pick one up and fucking eat it. I mean, they're full of protein, so who fucking cares? Fucking.
But what
big girl
about the
like that.
cattle prod, man?
no.
If somebody gets a hold of that, man, that's a game
Dude,
changer.
I used to have a
dude.
cattle prod. That ain't shit. We used to shock the shit out of each other with that motherfucker. I ain't
Okay.
worried about that. No, she hits
right.
hit the head with the can. Gunnis does grab the cattle prod, though. Holds it to her, holds her to the ground, and shoves that butt plug right back in Susan's ass.
Oh,
and
wow.
Susan's done. Belle Gunnis all day.
Okay. Joey, you got any different take on this?
Yeah, I see him in there in that cage, and Belle Gunnis, she's a fucking beast.
Hoss.
I mean, there's no two ways about that.
She's
So
stout.
she's gonna go over and she's just gonna fucking lay out Susan Smith with a fucking uppercut to the
Right, just
fucking
dump-
jaw.
Just fisticuffs.
Then she's gonna take her. She's gonna fucking stuff her head first into the barrel of the cockroaches.
Oh, word.
She's gonna fucking stuff her halfway down in there until she's choking on the cockroaches. Then she's gonna take that butt plug, shove it
Finish
into
the
her
job.
asshole, take that
stick-
cattle prod, and start
stick it-
fucking bashing that butt plug into her fucking ass
wow.
while she's choking on cockroaches.
Hell
wow.
yeah. Hell
Okay.
yeah. I love it.
Belle Gunnis.
Belle
Yeah.
Gunnis.
I don't see any way Belle Gunnis doesn't win this. I'm even thinking she goes for the butt plug and just bludgeons her with it.
Yeah.
I think for
Jumps
real,
on
it's a
top
brass
of her.
butt plug.
She's gonna overpower her
See-
and just beats her to death with the butt plug and just fucking
Done
Hell
with.
yeah.
takes off. You know.
Hell
I don't
yeah.
know if she want to fuck with those
How about you,
roaches.
CK?
Though. Yeah, CK. What do you think, dude?
Belle Gunnis all the way. She's gonna grab her by the throat and it's all over.
Yeah,
Then
she's
throw her
so
to the
much
ground
bigger.
and that fucking 55-gallon of cockroaches. She's
cockroach.
gonna fucking pound her with it
Hell yeah.
10 times and then release the cockroaches and then take the butt plug, shove it straight up her ass,
Hell yeah.
Oh, all right.
and take that prod and she's gonna prod every fucking piece of her body that's fine.
See, the cattle prod thing,
Put
if you
that
think about
prod.
it, because we've all got the same thing. Gunnis is putting it in Susan's ass. It's brass. So you take that cattle prod,
that's
you
gonna
stick it to
conduct
that. That's going to
electricity.
conduct. You just stick that prod to
Yeah.
that thing. Oh, boy. Like I said, we used to have one. We fucking used to hold it to the door when people knock on the door
Then-
and hold it to the door handle on the other side. Be like,
Yeah.
come in. And they grab the fucking door. Dude, that shit was fun as fuck.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I think to add insult to injury, Belle Gunnis is just gonna take a dump right on her after she's
She
done.
might. She might pull a Joe Callinger, man.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
All right. Well, I think we've done plenty of mayhem
Guinness.
tonight, guys. So
Dig a
let's
hole.
hit that fucking outro.
My resistance remain undefined. That door on the rising sun.
Fucking nasty, man.
Christian.
Another wicked band from Brazil with their song Blood of Lions. Another great band.
Killer.
So go check out some bands
killer.
from Brazil, man.
2 weeks of Brazilian brutality.
That's right. Tonight, again, Korzus, Christian, and Cangaço, all Brazilian bands, really great, fucking awesome. Thank you to Antonio from Korzus for doing the interview. Don't forget, the entire 33-minute interview we did with him will be released the day after this episode goes out. So just hang in there for a day, and it's a bonus. So our gift to you. So the whole thing, you could check it out.
And it's really good interview.
Yeah, I think it turned out good, and he was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
CK, who does your intro music, my brother?
Cry6.
Fucking A. Chris, Murder Metal Mayhem intro.
Low 12, low 12.
Sounds so nice.
Low motherfucking 12.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey, WBK, I wasn't talking to you, homie. Go away.
And Joey, who's doing that
okay.
666 music?
David.
David. Oh God! Oh my God! With that shit. Yeah, we were talking about that in Murder,
fuck?
CK. Remember that?
Oh, shit.
With that little kid that lived next door to me in Bethel. Yeah. David.
But
Oh, yeah.
the
Oh,
the
God.
666 music's provided by Onslaught.
Hell yeah. Rotten Cotton, another sponsor of ours. 15% off your merch if you use the code Mayhem when you order 20 or more. We've had some listeners already get hoodies, T-shirts, all sorts of good stuff. I got a Damien Omen shirt that's fucking wicked. Just watched The Omen the other night. Fucking badass.
The original?
Yeah, the original.
Hell yeah.
RottenCotton.com. So use that code
still
Mayhem.
scares the shit out of me, too.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Awesome.
SpellboundEffectsAndArt.com for indie artists like Tony doing all sorts of gruesome shit. You can get everything from a thumb drive to a fucking full body fucking corpse thing that looks like it's made with real skin. It's fucking wicked.
Get you a fucking cock, bro.
You can get a cock. You can get a dead baby's
You get a
head.
vagina.
You can get Jesus's head on a spike. I mean, whatever the fuck you want, he can do it.
Whatever you want, he'll do it.
SpellboundEffectsAndArt.com.
It's amazing.
So, thanks to everybody out there listening. We keep seeing those numbers rolling in, and we appreciate that very much. We had some really good comments this time. Chris, what's that first one we got?
We got Tracy Bolton, 77, says, I just heard about you guys a month ago, and I've been listening every day to try and catch up. You have a lot of episodes, and they're all 2 hours or more. I don't know how you guys come up with such creative show every week without fail. I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. Raised just in Mississippi. Keep it up, Mississippi. Hell yeah. Thanks, Tracy.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's a good comment.
And the fact is that we're all geniuses, so that's how we.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
I guess.
We're all geniuses.
Joey,
joking, of
what's
course.
the next one, Joey?
Janet Spikes commented, "My boyfriend has been listening to you guys for a couple of years now, and we took a trip and listened to you for 10 hours.
Oh, my God.
It was such a great way to pass the time. I love how you deliver the stories in such a funny way with tons of information. Love the karaoke at the end of each episode. So original. Thank you, Janet Spikes.
Yeah, thanks,
You are
Janet.
the shit."
That's awesome. Very cool. CK, what about the next one?
We got Dead Elvis 666
Nice.
commented, "I really love the Mayhem stories the best. You guys have had interesting lives to have so many good stories like that. It's fucking awesome. Horns High in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Dead Elvis.
Interesting
666.
is the word.
Interesting
Yeah.
is the word.
Chris, what about that last one, man? This is a funny one.
You better say it right.
This is a good
Say it
one.
right.
Marsha.
Yeah.
Say it right. You know what's up. Yeah, Marsha says, the episode last week was great, especially since you had so many issues. Andrea Yates is a sick woman. Boy, she did was inexcusable. Thanks for telling this story, and hopefully this shit will stop. It will never stop until the end of the world. But thank you, Marsha.
Yeah, thanks, Marsha. That's fucking cool.
It was like
We
it
appreciate
was
it.
honestly
Thank you.
kind of cool to have Stephanie for having
Yeah.
a woman's point of view.
for sure.
Yeah,
and the medical.
Yeah,
Working
and the
in the
medical
medical
for sure.
All right. Well, don't forget to check out our website to hear all the shows, except for, of course, that bonus stuff. But murdermetalmayhem.com. And you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can check us out all sorts of ways: Amazon Music, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, iTunes, and more. Leave us comments, rate the show. It helps spread the word. So thank you. Join that 666 Club, guys. We talk about it all the time.
Yes, we do.
We got
Get
all
that
sorts
merch,
of cool
baby.
stuff. Yeah, 10% off the merch. It's only $3 a month. Patreon.com
Hell yeah.
/Murder Metal Mayhem. So I'll link to that, all this stuff, in the episode description. So scroll down. You can also go to PeteAltieri.com. That puts you on my Facebook page. I'm getting ready to do a new online ordering setup with like a store. So be patient, but with the new book, I'm looking to roll out something a little more professional, a little easier to sell stuff through. So I'll have that posted and share here. So
Also, in case anybody's listening, we were out of the activity books for a little while.
just got some more in.
Got some more. So
Yep.
the adult activity book that should
Yeah,
be
the
nowhere
Murder
near a
Metal
coffee
Mayhem,
table.
color, serial killers, word searches, all sorts of funny shit.
Oh,
I'll
hell
try
yeah.
to remember to link
all
to that
fun.
in the episode description too. All right. Also, Voice of Dread, that's my new podcast I'm doing on horror. I just did one where I'm going to be reading my story, The Creep, and talking about why I wrote it and some of the backstory. Before that, Joey, you and I did one on The Exorcist.
Yeah.
We did one on Saw.
That's really good.
I've done a lot of different interesting topics.
The Grave Bells.
The Grave Bells episode.
Grave Bells is-
Just got a listener comment on that one that really liked that. So
Oh, yeah.
that's really cool. All right, well, we can't let him go without hearing a karaoke song. I wanted to destroy some boy band shit to this week, so I think I did it. So crank this one up, and until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And for old school reasons, and you're fisting somebody's ass.
David.
Bye, 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 bye. Bye, 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 bye. Oh, I'm doing this tonight. You're probably gonna start a fight. I know this can't be right. Hey, baby, come on. I loved you endlessly, and you weren't there for me. So it's time to leave and make it alone. I know that I can't take no more. It ain't no lie. I wanna see you out that door, baby. Bye, bye, bye. Don't wanna be a fool for you. Just another player in your game for two. You may hate me, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye. Don't really wanna make it tough. I just wanna tell you that I had enough. Might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye. Ow, ow, ow. Just hit me with the truth now. Girl, you're more than welcome to. So give me one good reason, baby, come on. I live for you and me, and now I really come to see that life would be much better once you're gone. I know that I can't take no more. It ain't no fucking lie. I wanna see you out that door, baby. Bye, bye, bye. Don't wanna be a fool for you. Just another player in your game for two. You may hate me, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye. Don't really wanna make it tough. I just wanna tell you that I had enough. Might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye. Giving up, I know for sure. I don't wanna be the reason for your love no more. Bye bye. I'm checking out, I'm signing off. I don't wanna be the loser, and I've had enough. I don't wanna be your fool in this game for two. So I'm leaving you behind. Bye bye. I don't wanna make it tough. Make it tough. I've had enough. And it ain't no lie, baby. I don't wanna be a fool. Just be a fool. make it tough, but I've had enough. Ain't no lie. Bye, 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 bye.
Mother, man.